draw, scoring 12 KOs along the way. Here he is, the Camden Buzzsaw, the WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Dwight Braxton. And his adversary in the red corner, he weighed in at 173 pounds. He's wearing white trunks trimmed with black. His home is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is a former Olympic gold medal winner in the middleweight division. He remains undefeated, 22 wins, scoring 16 KOs along the way. Here is the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Spinks.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape here. Really little to choose between these two, with the glaring exception, of course, of the height advantage enjoyed by Michael Spinks. Braxton, 4 years the senior of Spinks, but really, so far as experience is concerned, they are just about even. Braxton 19-1-1. Spinks, of course, is 22-0, but Braxton has not lost since 1978. Spinks since 1976. Otherwise, 174 for Braxton, 173 for Spinks. Everything is comparable. Here are the common opponents. Johnny Davis, who we saw a little bit earlier, knocked out by Spinks in the 9th round, and he was the man who beat Braxton, but remember that was back in 78. Braxton avenged that defeat with a 10-round decision. And then a fellow by the name of Wilburn, whom both men meet. An interesting quote, I think, from Johnny Davis, who said, "My 6-year-old son can beat both of them." Well, either his 6-year-old son is a hell of a fighter, or he is prone to make some misstatements. Larry Hazard will be the referee. Incidentally, the 10-point must rule is the way the fight will be scored. There will be no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count unless the fighter is knocked off his feet or through the ropes. And here is the psychological game in the center of the ring. So what's left then is simply to get on with it. And there's no question as to how this fight will be fought.
There is no perspiration on Dwight Braxton, which means he didn't really warm up in the back. I see a slight perspiration on Michael Spinks. Something could happen in this very first round because both guys are tight. You can feel the intensity of the crowd.
You know, Michael Spinks' walking around weight is 200 and Braxton over 190. And the way they're slimmed down and in shape for this fight, it's like 2 bullets ready to barrel out of a gun right at each other.
That is exactly the way Dwight Braxton came at Matthew San Muhammad in a fight that you saw on HBO. Right from the opening bell, he was on his chest. Now let's see if he will be tonight or if he will show a little bit more caution. Round 1, unification fight. Crowd is alive right off the bat here.
Well, just like I say, I'm expecting something early in the first round.
And a right hand, and that was the Spinks jinx right there, that overhand right. And it had Braxton backing up for a moment.
Spinks he's aggressive now in the very beginning.
Spinks would like to have Braxton at long range if he can. He also said that he does not want to let himself get on the ropes. Braxton admittedly says, if I get him on the ropes, I will beat him.
That left jab of Michael Spinks will be the key for him to keep Braxton at bay. Instead of that left jab. Braxton has a very good left jab himself. Very stiff. Gets him inside ways that he can do damage.
So far, Braxton has not been able to get inside. He also said that against San Muhammad, he lunged a little bit in the first couple rounds until he settled down. Spinks, however, notoriously slow starter.
Well, Spinks has started off very fast this first round, but he's tight. Both fighters are still tight.
Braxton with a right hand and a left hand, and that actually buckled the knees of Michael Spinks. It was a left hand behind the right.
Something's going to happen, I feel, Brad, because they both are throwing bombs the very first round.
Spinks, of course, will have to punch down at Braxton. And that is pretty much the way he likes it. Of course, because of his height, Spinks has to punch down on almost anyone in this weight division.
Well, Spinks can't afford to stand straight up, too erect. Because Braxton comes, he throws that jab to the body, to the head, Then he comes with that crushing right hand.
Braxton actually was questioning Spinks' defense. Another good right hand by Braxton drives Spinks back to the ropes. That was a slip. And now Spinks hammers it. The first time it was not a punch. Braxton on the ropes now. There's a little bit of undue excitement here. I don't believe that first punch was so hard.
They both are fighting perfect fights here. The strategies are perfect for both fighters. Braxton's under attack. Michael Spinks moving, getting out of the way of danger. Very good round for both fighters.
I started to say, if Braxton was saying that if Spinks fights the fight he's always fought, he is wide open for almost any punch that Braxton would throw. Braxton said, I would be surprised if I never have to hit him in the chin. That's the end of round one, a good one and a very fast-paced one.
We'll take a look at that little flurry in the corner after Braxton slipped. Braxton is covered up very well. Spinks is trying to find him with that uppercut. There you see Braxton sticking his tongue out at Spinks. Braxton not getting much punishment, but all the punches were being landed by Spinks. Here we see it from an overhead view.
Snap it. Keep flying it out there, baby.
And there's Michael's corner.
Drop your hands down. Get him up.
Steve, can you get some rosin, Steve? Okay, second down.
Spinks' strategy coming into this fight, according to Eddie Futch, would be not to throw the right hand, to try to make Braxton lead, and to use his left unless he saw a big opening.
Second round, little to choose in a fast-paced first round.
Braxton has that natural defense positioning because he's like a turtle. He can tuck his head inside his shell and protect himself at all times.
And you never really get all of him.
It's very difficult to hit him because of broad shoulders and he gets down very low. And when you go down to meet him, he comes in with that good stiff left jab.
Both these fighters just impeccably conditioned for this fight. There was some talk that conditioning would be a factor. I really do believe both men are in peak condition.
Oh, they're both in excellent shape. And Spinks cannot continue to throw those straight punches. See, the jab is okay, but he'll start bringing some punches under. That uppercut, left and right uppercut.
Braxton has not been in as close quarters as one might have expected thus far.
I really feel this is a fight that Braxton wants to really work Michael Spinks because Spinks doesn't really start off this fast.
That was a pretty good right hand by Michael Spinks, but it did not do a lot of damage. The crowd will mislead you, really, in some cases. It is a very exuberant crowd, but so far through the first two rounds, it has been exuberant in some cases without cause.
Both fighters have to be careful at all times. For Michael Spinks, he can't throw punches inside then come up with his head sitting straight in. He needs to move away under, slip under. Braxton can't just stand there and can't telegraph his punches because you know it's there. Spinks comes back.
One of those four punches scored by Michael Spinks. Braxton actually taunting him on the ropes here.
That's the key for Spinks once again. Make Braxton throw it, miss, and then capitalize on it. And that jab is going to do it.
Braxton lunging at Spinks, and again, no damage by either man. That right hand a little bit short, but it did catch Spinks on the nose. There was a good left hand by Braxton.
The power of Dwight Braxton is incredible. Michael Spinks punches very hard, very well. And these guys, I think they're equal in punching power. That's why I still believe it's not going to go the distance.
Now, you won't really find a lot of money ringside here that thinks it will. Braxton continuing to lunge at Michael Spinks, but he really doesn't have much choice.
I don't think he's going past 5 now, to be honest with you.
end of the second round.
This is a fierce pace. There's not a moment's let up for either fighter. Let's listen to Dwight Braxton's corner.
Take a deep breath, Doc. Breathe. Take it up. Take it up. Double up your left hand.
How's everything? Everything okay?
Everything's fine. Okay, fella. You're going up ahead a little too much. Looking all the time. Ripping underneath. Ripping it up. Take your time. You know about it. We're listening all the time. So let's go underneath. Keep your hands high. Okay? Eyes on them all the time. And just wait. What you do? Working good. Stay alert. Stay off the rope. Out of the corner.
All right, the advice from Braxton's corner was to throw the jab more often.
And double up on the left hand. So this is the third round. Dwight Braxton on the right of your screen, red trunks. Michael Spinks in the white trunks. No mistaking these two.
I noticed that in the last round, when Braxton was resting, he was breathing very heavily. And he was complaining about a virus that he had. And it could be a factor here.
Although I believe, Larry, if I'm not mistaken, you had a chance to talk with him, and he said he wasn't being bothered by that.
He sounded clear-headed when I spoke to him earlier today and yesterday.
Once again, Braxton a little bit off balance on some of his punches, and that time trying to throw a punch from behind. Braxton's temper getting him a little bit here. Actually, it has been Michael Spinks who on occasion has been accused of using a few tactics that are not worthy of the Marcus of Queensberry.
It would be beneficial for either fighter to maintain his composure, because the guy that's going to get upset and get frustrated is going to be the very one that's going to burn up unnecessary energy and strength.
Spinks has successfully been able to keep Braxton off him pretty much. Remember, Spinks historically has been stronger in the later rounds.
I don't like the way Spinks throws that jab and fades away with his hands down to his side, because Braxton has a good sharp left hook, picture perfect left hook. He gets it off very, very fast, and it's a snap to it, so you really don't see it coming.
Spinks has been successful in ducking under that looping right hand that Braxton throws, and threw so well against Saad Muhammad.
That's the left hook I was talking about, bro. You see the way it comes out? He snaps it.
That left hook a moment ago landing behind the ear of Michael Spinks. Spinks keeping the jab in the face of Braxton, and while it's not really doing any damage, it is keeping him off him. There's a good right hand by Braxton, and it traps Spinks against the ropes, who spins away.
That left jab of Spinks is keeping Braxton at bay. It's not giving him time to set his punches up.
Yeah, it's not a particularly damaging left hook, but it's just keeping his man off him enough.
But he has to get that jab. Every punch that Spinks throws, he has to get back soon enough. He's snap his back, because Braxton's going to come back with something. He's going to counter.
I'd have to think of this as a pretty good round for Michael Spinks. Here's a program reminder from HBO, the World Figure Skating Championships. An exhibition of champions comes your way Tuesday, March 24th, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And I was there with JoJo Starbuck, one of the top professional figure skaters. So you can see the newly crowned 1983 World Champions in a spectacular exhibition from Helsinki, Finland only, right here on HBO.
Convention Hall in Atlantic City. They used to have a great ocean right outside here. Let's take a look at that flurry on the ropes as Braxton tried to get Spinks in trouble, but really has failed. So far, Spinks has used his jab exceedingly well and has stuck to a game plan devised by Eddie Futch. Use his left hand, and not go right hand crazy, which he sometimes has done in the past.
Yeah, Spinks right now appears to be dictating the tempo of the fight. That, of course, is subject to change very quickly.
This is not an easy fight for either fighter. Spinks has to punch down, Braxton has to punch up. So their size is a great problem for both fighters.
That was a short left hook by Spinks a moment ago that did score in the face of Braxton. First time he's thrown that punch in this fight.
You notice that left jab, the consistency of the Spinks left jab is always create problems for Braxton.
That hook by Braxton caught Spinks on the gloves. No damage.
Braxton wants to get right into Spinks' chest and work his body, work his head.
But the jab of Spinks has not allowed him to do that. There was a left hand that did score, but Spinks ties up Dwight Braxton immediately.
Well, throughout this fight, Spinks needs to keep that right hand up there. They're taking from the left jab, from the left hook.
Here's a good right hand, and Braxton was hurt by that. That was a short overhand right.
Braxton can get set. That jab of Michael Spinks is doing wonders for him. Now he's trying to throw the uppercuts.
And as you mentioned, he uses the uppercut to set up the right hand.
Raise that chin up. That left goes left, and right uppercuts will raise the chin up of a shorter fighter.
Spinks, for the last round and a half, has been very effective. And that jab is scoring consistently now. Left hand by Braxton did get in.
It's just hard to imagine, but Braxton never had an amateur fight. What he has now is natural ability.
Of course, he spent 11 years in either juvenile detention homes or in prison. He was at Rahway. And he admittedly says, I don't ever want to go back there. Very community-oriented now, as a matter of fact. He doesn't really credit Rahway Prison's boxing system, though, with teaching him the boxing skills. He learned those, he says, after he got out. Meanwhile, Spinks continues to score almost at will right now against Braxton.
Well, see, what Spinks is doing, he's confusing Braxton. He's throwing jabs, he's bringing punches under and over. And he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be in the corners or against the ropes with Braxton. He's doing the right thing, keeping the center of the ring.
There's a left hand by Braxton that did get in over the guard of Spinks. Braxton has not been able to follow up, however, so far at the end of the round.
Michael Spinks is fighting an extremely disciplined fight. He's fighting the best opponent he's ever been in the ring with. On other occasions, he's been wild. He's very
Bring
disciplined.
that left hand back high. Don't drop it low, because you're looking to go over the top of that right hand.
He's not wasting
When
energy
he
either.
drops the bob and wrist, then he's got to go to the body. He gets the head too low. You have to go to the body with the left uppercut or the right uppercut.
Yeah, Lee. That's the one you're on, or got away from it. Got under it. And when you catch it, jab right back. Jab right back. Okay? Let you grab a little lower. Just throw your chin down. Short punch if you need it.
The question right now is if Braxton can keep the pressure on so that Spinks will slow down as the fight goes on. He is being controlled right now.
This is the 5th round. Braxton, I know, cannot be satisfied with how close he's managed to get to Spinks, and it has been Spinks' jab that has consistently kept him off it. Spinks has also successfully managed to keep the fight pretty much in the middle of the ring.
Braxton has a very good left jab, and it's very strong, very stiff, and he too can keep his man off balance with that jab.
Eddie Futch in the corner between rounds, you might have heard, tell Michael Spinks to go downstairs a little bit more when Braxton's head drops.
You know there, Braxton threw a right hand to the midsection of Michael Spinks. Those are very good shots, and they take their toll in the later rounds. And you would definitely see a change in a fighter as the rounds progress. If you want to slow a man down, work his body, he will slow down. And also his hands will drop eventually.
Neither man is marked. Neither man has really been hurt. Each man was stunned once.
I wonder how long they can keep this pace going, because the first round was a very fast pace. And Michael Spinks is not known for starting off very fast. He was very aggressive the first few rounds.
Well, as Larry Merchant mentioned, neither man has ever met an opponent of the caliber of the man he's in there with tonight. That was a good uppercut.
Those are the punches, Barry, that I was talking about. Those uppercuts. He raises the chin up to the opponent, and he's able to come back with the right hand.
Both men use the uppercut with great regularity. Braxton will even counterpunch with the uppercut occasionally.
The reason that Braxton's having so much trouble with Mike, because Mike is not a stationary target. He's moving. He's using that jab. He's lateral moving side to side. You notice he goes left and he goes right. He's not just going one way.
There was an uppercut and it came behind a left jab. It was a left jab and a right uppercut. Braxton right back on him. And Braxton scoring with a combination for what might be the first time tonight.
Well, see, what Spinks doing now, he's letting Braxton get a rhythm going. And you can't do that.
Braxton backs Spinks into the ropes for a moment, but Spinks quickly gets off of there. As Ray Leonard mentioned, he does not want to be there.
Now Spinks needs to double that jab up. He has found his point, and now he's to double up.
And that's the end of the fifth round. Pace slowed a little bit that round. More boxing coming away on HBO on May the 13th. That's a Friday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Larry Merchant, Sugar Ray Leonard, and myself will be in Providence, Rhode Island as Marvelous Marvin Hagler defends his world middleweight title for the 7th time against the #1 WBC ranked contender Wilfred Scipion. It's live only on HBO.
All right, let's take a look at an exchange here. This perhaps was Braxton's best moment in the fight so far. A couple of left hands, and he landed a number of left jabs in that round. So far, this fight has become a battle of wills and left hands.
I was so right up with that.
Does it surprise you, Larry Merchant, that Spinks is winning as many of the early rounds as he apparently is?
I'm surprised that he's controlled the pace as well as he has. He's been much cleverer than he's been in other fights, but perhaps that's because he hasn't had to be clever in other fights.
This is the 6th round, and Spinks starts out strongly.
I'm so impressed with Michael Spinks' left jab, the way it gets through there, the accuracy of it, the speed of it.
The esteem of the winner of this fight will raise considerably just by virtue of the fact that whoever is the loser, as we mentioned earlier, will have been the toughest opponent either man has fought. There was a good right hand by Michael Spinks, but Braxton ducks under a barrage and takes the right hand from Braxton, who sticks his tongue out at him.
Braxton uses psychology. You know, he smiles, sticks his tongue out, and that's just to make the fighter feel he's not hurt. A lot of good punches are thrown by Michael Spinks. A lot have landed. But Braxton's using psychology now. Both fighters are giving each other opportunities. When Michael Spinks slows down, this is a great opportunity for Braxton to get on the attack, and vice versa.
There was a good left hand to the stomach by Braxton. Braxton said he was going to try to go downstairs with some degree of consistency, and he has done so.
You know, even here, you notice the way that Braxton's carrying that left hand down all the way to his hip.
Braxton, but the left hand caught Spinks largely on the gloves. An uppercut, though, does score.
A lot of those punches are grazing punches, although they're still damaging. And getting back to the point I was trying to make with Braxton's hands down low.
That was a good, solid left hand by Michael Spinks.
Spinks can throw body shots also because his arms are long. He throws very fast punches.
You can see on occasion, even though Braxton does not show any signs of being hurt, that he is literally stopped by one of Spinks' punches. Spinks backhanded him there also.
Braxton is very elusive. I'm impressed with the way he's been dodging a lot of those punches thrown by Michael Spinks.
And Braxton back on him again. But Spinks gets off the ropes very wisely, and they're back in the center of the ring. Both men still appear to be very strong. At the bell.
Let's take a look at Spinks. This is soon after he was hit by a couple of punches by Braxton, and there you see him coming right back. And when we were talking about championship fights between champions, that's what I mean. They refuse to step back. When they are hit, they want to come back immediately and reassert themselves. Here's the same punch from an overhand angle. I would think about now, Ray, that Braxton may be getting a little bit frustrated.
He's frustrated, yes, and I see the signs of fatigue setting there because he's been missing a lot of punches. He's been caught by a lot of punches.
Put it on forward, me. Come on, baby.
This is the 7th round. Pace has been very up-tempo almost from the opening bell.
Normally, Braxton is the guy that frustrates a fighter because it's difficult to hit him. And here I think he's being frustrated by Michael Spinks' consistency of the left jab and his movement. Spinks is keeping that left jab working. Braxton cannot set. He can't get inside. He can do this all night long.
Left jab, very effective. Very effective.
It doesn't have to be hard either, Barry. A few taps, just keep the man, just keep it in his eyes.
And that was a great shot right to the kidney. That was a terrific punch. And Braxton, I believe, is in a little bit of trouble.
That was a great body shot, great kidney punch by Michael Spinks, and it's stunned. I thought that it stunned Braxton. But Braxton's always dangerous, just like Michael Spinks, always dangerous. So you're never too sure about these guys.
Spinks right now clearly controlling the fight.
For Braxton, now observe when Spinks throws that left jab out there. He leaves out there a little too long. So a left hook is good for Braxton to throw, or a left hook to the body.
There again, that left jab right in the face consistently of Dwight Braxton.
Braxton needs to time Spinks punches instead of just taking them.
Combination by Spinks, scores on Braxton. Neither man is marked, and in fact, neither man really showing even so much as any puffiness.
Well, the defense of both fighters has been superb. I'm disappointed not to see as many body punches thrown by Braxton because he's there in head hunting, and sometimes the head won't be there.
There was a good uppercut by Spinks.
You see there, once again, Braxton goes for the head and he misses.
Braxton in this round does look like a frustrated fighter.
That body's going to be there, bro. Michael Spinks can keep this up all night long. Just pop shots.
Braxton at the end of the 7th round.
Take a deep breath, Mike. Take a deep breath. Hold it.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Another deep breath and set up straight.
Yeah. Okay. Let it go. Okay. All right. Take the water.
All right. Here's Spinks, who was beginning to dominate the fight. That was an awfully good right hand to the body. I said earlier, Ray, that
all you have to do.
Braxton was part Archie Moore and part Joe Frazier. I think he's going to have to forget the Archie Moore part and come on like Joe Frazier and try to dominate his man physically rather than with his boxing skills.
I definitely agree, Larry. He has to be more aggressive. Get inside, work the body like Joe Frazier did in the past. Slow his man down.
This is the 8th round. Braxton comes out of his corner breathing rather heavily. Actually, that shot to the kidneys by Spinks in the last round could have been the best punch of the fight.
That was a great punch to the kidneys by Michael Spinks. Those are the kind of punches that slows an opponent down.
I don't believe that's a knockdown. That is not a knockdown. And Spinks comes right back with another left hook, and again you can just see Braxton be stopped by it. And there's a good right hand by Braxton. That was a good solid shot by Braxton. But Spinks right back with the left hand. That also is a push. And Michael Spinks can only laugh about it. They are calling out a knockdown. I don't believe it was. In all honesty, I do not believe that was a knockdown.
It just happened so fast.
And Braxton is right on his man. I don't even think Braxton thought it was a knockdown.
Well, I'm sure he will accept that.
No question.
Now, see, this is where Braxton wants Spinks against the ropes.
There's a good right-handed counterpunch by Braxton. And Braxton back across the ring. Tries to hold Spinks and hit on hold. Now it's Braxton against the ropes. And again, Spinks goes down, and again, it is not a knockdown. It's the 3rd time in this round. They called one of them a knockdown.
The ring is not really that steady either. Here in the corner where we're sitting at, the ring is unbalanced, is uneven.
I think what's happening, too, when they get in close quarters is that Braxton is stepping on Spinks' toes. Not intentionally, but...
It's an awkward fight for both fighters, especially inside with all the clinch and hold and wrestling.
Right hand a little bit short. That was a good right hand by Braxton.
If Braxton doubles punches up sometimes, go to the body, come back to the head with that same punch. Instead of waiting for one big punch.
All in all, this has been a rather effective round for Braxton. Turns Spinks around and scores with a combination once more.
Now he has become a Joe Frazier. He has become more aggressive. And if he can keep this up, we may see the tables turn. But he has to keep going.
Spinks covering up a little bit here, too. And just a little bit of the starch has gone from Michael Spinks. Now, that's not to say that it'll last for the rest of the fight. Braxton very definitely the aggressor now, forcing the action, and has Spinks backpedaling.
I see fatigue in both fighters. More so in Michael Spinks.
End of the round, and a very good round for Braxton.
That was Braxton's best round by far. Let's see if we can hear something in the corner. I thought Michael Spinks lost his composure a little bit and got a little wild, and perhaps from fatigue.
All right, buddy, now. Good.
Let's take a look now if we can catch that knockdown. I thought it was a knockdown, Ray. Even though it wasn't a devastating punch, he fell as a result of a punch. He hit him in the... Spinks is an awkward fighter very often and off balance, but as you see, it was a punch that put him down.
He was also standing on his foot.
Well, that helps too.
Come on now.
Shades of Chuck Wepner and Muhammad Ali.
That was a very good round for Braxton. If he can keep it up, stay aggressive.
This is the 9th round. Now let's see if, in fact, Michael Spinks is tired. He comes out with a left uppercut right at the bell. It is possible that Spinks could have been just pacing himself in that round, and he does pick up the tempo a little bit here to start things.
Well, that wrestling, all that wrestling holding will tire a fighter out.
Oh, as we said earlier, there's another combination. As now Braxton is brawling a little bit more.
But this is what Braxton needs to do and wants to do. Get inside, work his man, over muscle, outpower his man.
Of the two right now, Ray, I would have to think Braxton is the stronger.
I think presently Braxton seems to have gained his second win a lot sooner than Michael Spinks. Although Michael still has enough power to get Braxton out of there if he should land a good punch. Again, both of these guys are capable of knocking each other out.
There's not as much spring in the legs of Michael Spinks either right now.
Well, you never see Michael Spinks that aggressive and so early rounds. I don't like what Mike's doing. When he runs away, he could be hit by a blinding punch.
Braxton also able to get inside a little bit easier in the last couple of rounds. Certainly in the 8th round, and here a little bit in the 9th. There's a little bit of blood from the nose of Braxton. I don't believe that it would cause him any problem. That was a pretty good right hand by Spinks, but it did not cause Braxton to take a backward step.
You know, another point to bring out, even inside, although Michael Spinks is tall and his arms are longer, he throws very good short punches and powerful punches. Whereas that you would expect a shorter man to be able to throw more punches and do more damage inside.
Spinks, to me, just seems a step slower right now.
Well, Michael's starting to reach now. He's starting to telegraph his punches. What I'm afraid that Braxton's going to counterpunch with an overhand right while Mike is throwing that left jab out there.
And there was a right hand, just as advertised.
Well, I know I'm talking about too.
And another good right hand as Spinks bounces off the ropes right into it.
Well, Michael can't leave that jab out there too long.
And there's another counter-punching right.
You see what's happening now? He's giving Braxton momentum, and Braxton's going to take charge. He's going to take advantage of this.
Left hook, short left hook, stopped Braxton in his tracks.
Braxton's making, the reason he's getting hit by the left hook is he's going down, he's staying there instead of moving his head a lot more.
Nonetheless, another effective round for Dwight Braxton, I should think.
Gotta get the second.
We're in Dwight Braxton's corner.
You're okay. You're okay. That's what I want to know. All I want to know. How you feel? You all right?
How we doing, fellas?
Okay.
Hey, I can help send that push.
Yeah, what you're doing though, you're letting the guy off the hook. You're letting him off the hook. Last round.
You hit him with a couple punches and you
And then you make him miss. Pressure on him, all. Make him miss. I want you to fire.
Here we see an overhead shot of the two fighters and the geometry between them, the problem that each poses for the other. And in Braxton's corner, Quenzel McCall is urging him to come on, that he's letting Spinks off the hook. It's obvious that they feel that Spinks is getting tired.
And there is still quite a ways to go. This is the 10th round.
I really didn't expect this fight to go this long.
It becomes a whole different fight now, too.
It is. I mean, they are fighting a different fight altogether. Overlooking the fact of the size difference.
Braxton again lunging at Spinks, but doing so with more success than he did in the early rounds.
This is what Braxton also wants. He wants to keep Michael Spinks running away from him, which could be a very bad mistake on Mike's part because he's running away and he might get hit by a blind punch.
Remember, Dwight Braxton has not gone more than 11 rounds. Now there's a combination and a pretty good uppercut thrown by Spinks, and it really didn't seem to have any effect. Again, there is a little blood from the nostril of Dwight Braxton. And hook caught on the gloves of Michael Spinks.
Mike's goes to the body of Braxton sometimes. He's tried the head, and you see that Braxton takes a very good punch. He starts working the body sometimes.
This is the 10th round. There has been one knockdown, and that one is an arguable one. That by Braxton.
I can't understand. Braxton throws a good left jab. He gets close, and I don't know why he's holding that right hand back.
Braxton seems, to me at least, to be measuring Spinks a little bit better now. Punches missed.
It's difficult to hit Braxton because he's on his foot. You know, he slips and slides, he bobs and weaves.
Braxton looking to counterpunch here and doing so effectively.
Now, once again, there should be some body attacks on both fighters. They exerted themselves a great deal that round.
Caught mostly on the gloves.
One punch is delivered straight up the middle of Braxton. Now those are the kind of punches that do damage.
All right, give me the sponge. I mean the ice.
Give me the uppercut. Stick with the uppercut, Mikey. Stick with the uppercut. Left uppercut and right uppercut. All right, right uppercut, Mike.
They're advising Spinks to throw that uppercut. Let's see what he can do with it. There it is. It hadn't done much damage. Both of them are practicing what Archie Moore used to call escapology. Escapology. They're a little bit tired, and there are a lot more punches that seem to be missing than hitting right now. The last third of this fight will tell the story of the fight.
We come to the 11th round. Spinks again comes out quickly.
The yelling from Spinks' corner, don't get lazy. And this also happens with fighters. It used to happen to me. I'll get in there and all of a sudden, if fatigue happens to set in, I'll get lazy instead of becoming aggressive. You start laying back too long.
There was a left hand that did manage to get in, but that was really the only one of that flurry that did.
That was a beautiful combination. Double left jab and right hand.
And another right hand with a left hand behind it.
And see now, this is once again, Spinks should keep going. He should keep this attack going. Because when you hurt a fighter or hit a fighter with a series of punches, what happens? You discourage him. But you give him time to regroup. He comes back just as mean, just as fierce.
And again, Michael Spinks scoring effectively on Dwight Braxton now. Long right hand.
Now you may see Braxton come on the attack because I think he feels that Spinks has punched himself out.
This has been a very up-tempo round for Michael Spinks.
That was a good attempt by Spinks. He threw an overhand right, lead off right.
on his shoulder.
You see what happens, Barry? All of a sudden, Braxton retaliates. He comes back very strong. He waits. He comes on strong.
And right now, Michael Spinks is on his bicycle. Telegraphed that punch, aimed it, and aimed that one also.
Braxton seems to be waiting for an overhand right. It seems as though he's trying to set up, but Spinks won't cooperate. He won't stay stationary.
And that is the end of the 11th round. This, then, is as far as Dwight Braxton has ever gone in a boxing ring.
Cut him off. Okay. I want you to cut him off. Don't follow him. Cut him off. Okay?
There you see Braxton trying to draw Spinks into leading so that he can retaliate, bringing him into range. That was the best flurry of the round, and Spinks did a lot of fleeing in that round, and I don't know honestly how you score it. When a fighter is running that much, some officials will score it by the fighter who is dictating the tempo.
I want you punching back now.
On my scorecard, gentlemen, I have Spinks well ahead, 6 rounds to 3 and 2 even.
In which case, Dwight Braxton would really have to get getting if he was going to pull this fight out. And Braxton literally chasing Spinks around the ring. He hasn't really caught him yet.
Well, this proves one thing. Michael Spinks is fast on his feet also. And by being so tall, it's difficult for Braxton to really get it close to land some big killing blows. Another good punch for Braxton throws a stiff left jab straight to the midsection.
Braxton has been headhunting, really, as you mentioned, Ray, a lot more than I expected he would. Good shot by Spinks coming off the ropes.
Look at Spinks' hands. His hands dropping to his side now. So he's vulnerable for a left hook. If this is a good sharp one, it has to be very sharp.
Still a little bit of blood for the nose of Dwight Braxton. There was a good shot by Spinks.
Now Spinks has become a technician. He's bringing his punches under and over now. He works a jab to the head. He turns it into an uppercut. And he tries to set his man up for the right hand.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about the fact that if there was any criticism of Michael Spinks at all, it was that he didn't listen to advice. So far, he has followed every word that I've heard in his corner.
Watch the way, Barry. Once again, Barry, I hate to be redundant, but this is what the point I'm trying to bring out. The way Spinks is throwing that jab, and then all of a sudden he turns his left jab into a left hook or to a left uppercut.
Spinks being the tactician, Braxton is stalking him.
Braxton just wants to land one big punch to slow Michael Spinks down. But as long as Spinks keeps that left jab coming like that, sticking out, he'll be okay.
Left jab has been more effective in this round than it has in the last 4 or 5.
You can't bring it back too slow. The jab has to come back very fast and straight back up to his chin.
And it's very effective right now. Very effective.
Now he's really doing a boxing job on Dwight Braxton. Utilizing the whole ring.
And he took a right hand and he gets out of there. Braxton is right on him. Braxton just can't come up with the punch that he needs, though. Spinks covers up, takes a right hand at the bell.
Braxton won the last 10 seconds of the round, but Spinks won the first 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And now we might be getting to desperation time. Let's listen to the corners.
You put your punches together, not one shot. You can't hit this guy. You may hit him with one shot, but you're not putting anything behind. I want both hands working. All right? From here on in, I want you to chase this guy. I want you to make him run. Make him run faster than he want to run. You're not moving your feet, cut him off. You're just walking to him very slow and you're giving him time to get himself up the shot.
What you're seeing at the end of that round is what Quenzel McCall has just told Braxton he has to do for 3 minutes of the last 3 rounds.
Round 13. It has been a good, intelligently fought fight, particularly on the part of Michael Spinks, who has been more effective with his strategy than Dwight Braxton has with his.
You know, normally Michael Spinks wears a knee brace in his left knee.
They hurt his knee running back in 1979, and he did it running on concrete in Army boots, and as his physician said, something had to give, and it wasn't going to be the concrete, and it wasn't going to be the boots. There's a good shot by Braxton.
That was a beautiful shot by Dwight Braxton. Those are the very same punches that Braxton should have been throwing in the early rounds, because they take their toll in the late rounds.
Braxton's corner, you heard, advising him to stay after him and throw punches in combination, which they say he had not been doing. Easier said than done, however, against the guy who was fighting the type of fight that Michael Spinks is tonight.
A good punch to throw also against a tall fighter is jab to the body and right hand to the chin. That jab to the body brings the opponent's eyes down or folds him up temporarily, and the right hand normally lands. Mine's always did.
Braxton appears to me to be perhaps a step slower in this round. Good counter punch by Spinks, and that actually buckled the legs of Braxton, who goes against the ropes. There was a right hand and a left behind it.
I feel Spinks is fighting a very intelligent fight because he gets Braxton in trouble, but you never really know how serious, trouble he's in, because he comes back all of a sudden. So the key thing he's doing now is working that left jab, just building up points. You see there how Braxton retaliates.
Good sharp left hook, but again it was one punch.
Braxton now is chasing Michael around the ring instead of cutting the ring off. He needs to cut the ring in half instead of following as a man around the ring.
Another left hook, and it was a good left hook, but again, it was solo.
Spinks' left jab is starting to sink again, starting to go down to the side. He's vulnerable for a right hand, if Dwight should throw it.
End of the round, and Dwight Braxton is running out of time.
Well, he ain't had no real fire for his past couple rounds. If you let him get off your punches, then you don't come back. You know what I mean?
And then when you get inside, you're not walking him. You're getting there and you're staying there and not throwing anybody. I want you ripping underneath.
How's your juice? How do you feel? You got any zip? You only got 2. Well, let's put it together. Shit.
Now we gotta go out and do it.
Right.
Shit out here.
Keep jabbing and hooking and looking for your other shots off the jab and hook.
Braxton needs a knockout to win this fight.
There's a good left hand by Spinks, as Braxton came right at him, and Spinks sat back and waited for him.
Braxton's going to try to. He's coming straight at Michael Spinks. I think Barry, is make Spinks exchange punches with him till he can come out on top.
You heard, I believe, was Wesley Mouzon in the corner of Dwight Braxton between rounds. Say, have you got any zip left? Braxton nodded his head yes.
Again, notice Spinks' hands are down to the side. And see now, all those Spinks comfortably ahead in my book. He can't afford to do it in the late rounds. A guy, a fighter, what happens to a fighter? He gets a nice lead, all of a sudden he gets too lazy and too relaxed. And see, Braxton at this point now, he's desperate.
Spinks fighting what I would consider to be a very intelligent fight so far. Going to the offense when he has to, not being careless, keeping the jab in the face of Braxton when he has to, particularly so in the early rounds. Braxton found the right hand, scored to the left, catches Spinks coming off the ropes with another left, and Spinks is a little bit wobbly. Braxton trying to get right on top of him here, but Spinks gets out of it.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Braxton. He needs to take advantage of it. He has Spinks a little trouble, and now he's letting him get away. Spinks will probably be able to regroup and come back.
Spinks trying to stay out of harm's way here. Both those punches missed by Braxton.
Spinks is doing the right thing, Barry. He's just trying to clear his head, and the way he's clearing his head is keep moving or running and throwing that left jab off. Braxton once again should cut the ring off. He's following his man around the ring.
Spinks missed, and Braxton did catch him with the right hand. It didn't seem to be that strong a punch.
Fatigue has definitely set with Michael. You look at his hands down to the side.
Now Spinks fighting on guts right now, pretty much.
Guts and experience. He knows what he's doing. Sometimes your body just don't want to do it. Right then and there.
And again, Spinks bounces off the ropes, takes the left hand, but again, it wasn't a great left hand. And the right hand is short, and Spinks ties him up.
Braxton's still trying to land that head shot, and it won't just come that easy.
You got 3 minutes to go, Mike. So, 3 minutes. Also, you got 3 minutes. Keep your hands up, keep popping. Eventually when counter punches coming in,
You got 3 minutes, baby.
He'll be
3.
Andy, keep that on your feet.
Wait up a minute. That's what you're going to have to do this round. What you're going to have to do is walk right through him. Put your chin out of the air and get through him. You got to get to him quick. You can't get to him slow motion. Okay? You got to get no rush at him. Everything going right for you? Everything's fine. All right, this is the last round. Okay, fellas, go on. Don't run at him now, but I want you to get to him. Doing it, stepping together.
Jab. He ain't got it. Yeah. He ain't got it? Okay.
No, he ain't got it.
All right.
Don't take no chance.
Come down. Come down.
Final 3 minutes, the crowd on its feet chanting, Michael, Michael, Michael. They feel their man has won the fight. Dwight Braxton literally has 3 minutes to knock his man out.
And Braxton, he's aware of that too. He can feel that. Fighting can sense when he's losing.
And Spinks on the offense actually early on here. Braxton stalking his man. Spinks a little bit rejuvenated here, and that could just be sheer adrenaline.
Spinks is still trying to nail Braxton with one shot. He should just continue to use that left jab. Keep his points going. If the opportunity comes, take advantage of it. But he shouldn't try to look for a knockout. But always a knockout is always the safest decision.
And another side of this house chanting Qawi, 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 Muhammad Qawi, of course, the Islamic name of Dwight Braxton.
It's been a very tactical, very strategic fight by Michael Spinks. Using the ring, using his all his physical attributes, his height, his reach, speed. I'm very impressed with him, Barry.
Fought an excellent fight.
Once again, I'm still waiting for that right hand, and then he just attempted to land it. That overhand right of Dwight Braxton. He has Spinks' hands down his side. He should try to throw it more often.
Braxton stalking Spinks as he has the entire fight. Crowd on its feet in appreciation here. Braxton still unable to find him. The left hand over the head of Michael Spinks. And Dwight Braxton is running out of time.
He doesn't have that much time, Barry. And then here, a fight gets very, very desperate. This is the best time to frustrate a fighter. When time is running out and you know your head on points and he knows he's behind, Spinks doing the right thing, just boxing.
Spinks still on his bicycle, trying to stay in the middle of the ring. It would appear that that would be all he would have to do to win this fight.
And he's doing a good job.
You can see how much time Dwight Braxton has left. 23 seconds. Still trying to get his man on the ropes in the corner. He has said, if I get in there, I'll win the fight. Well, he has about 15 seconds left to prove his point. There was a good left hand by Spinks. And Braxton finally gets Spinks into the corner, but it is a case of too little and very likely too late. It was a tremendously fought 15 rounds by both men. And you're seeing a very tired Michael Spinks being hoisted aloft in apparent victory. But I'll tell you, I've been around this game long enough, and I have seen stranger things happen.
Yes, but I tell you, this is a very impressive fight by both fighters, and I like what Spinks did. For a very strategic fight, very intelligent fight.
I think it's safe to say, really, that both fighters did exactly what they had to do. It was just a case of one man, obviously, doing it a little bit better than the other.
That's true. Spinks did enough to keep Braxton off balance, never gave him a chance to set up. Braxton tried to get inside, tried to stay close to Spinks. Spinks was more mobile than I've ever seen before.
What would you say the difference in the fight was? Was it the left jab of Michael Spinks in the middle rounds?
The jab was the key to the fight for Michael Spinks. He kept that left jab in Braxton's face, maintained Braxton in the center of the ring, and Braxton had a difficult time trying to corner and get Spinks against the ropes.
Both these fighters, very tired combatants at this juncture. Hindsight, of course, a very easy thing, but if you had to do it over, you mentioned on a couple of occasions that Dwight Braxton headhunted perhaps a little bit too much.
He headhunted too soon and too much, Barry. If he had started off sooner, to the body, work his way in, use his jab, because Braxton has a very good stiff left jab. He should have used his jab a lot more than he did. But you learn by your mistakes.
Did it surprise you at all that Michael Spinks controlled the early rounds as much as he did? Spinks is a guy who, his history has been that from about round 6 on, he's controlled the fight. But here, really, he won it in the early rounds.
I was very impressed and very surprised, because normally Michael Spinks takes a nonchalant, very relaxed attitude towards the first 3, 4, 5 rounds. Then he comes on strong in the later rounds to knock you out. But this time, he started off very, very aggressive, and he maintained it. He kept his pace going. And he fought a very impressive fight.
Both fighters superbly conditioned.
They had to be. The pace was fast from the very first round. And for light heavyweights, that's very unusual.
So we await the official decision here, which we will have momentarily. Obviously, in Michael Spinks' corner, as you can see, they figure their man has won, as we do also. But as I mentioned, I've seen stranger things happen.
Yes, but you know, Barry, one thing I noticed, you don't see the chaos in the ring. Normally it becomes hectic, but I'm sure that the crowd realizes and they accept the fact that Michael Spinks should get the decision.
It was really hard to pick as Michael Spinks' daughter comes into the ring, and I'm sure you're going to be able to see her. I'm sure she will get into the arms of Daddy. You know the story of the tragedies that have befallen Michael Spinks since the first of the year, where his common-law wife, Sandra Massey, was killed in an automobile accident that back in January. Michael Spinks has really had a lot more on his mind over and above this fight, I'm quite sure.
Just the emotional shock and trauma that he's dealt with, even though he had gone here and dealt with a guy of the caliber of Dwight Braxton. You know, I take my hat off to Michael Spinks. I mean, he went through a lot, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and he came out on top.
And there is Michael Spinks and his daughter, Michelle, I believe is her name. And he is a very happy man. Michelle at 2 years old, I'm sure will have to be reminded of the emotions of this moment, but I'm sure the man holding her feels an awful lot of emotion right now. Trying to get the ring clear so that they can get the official decision, and I'm not sure that that is ever going to happen here. We, of course, will be talking with both the winner and the loser. Right now, let's go up to the ring announcer for the official announcement. Still a discussion going on. Is this the camera?
Clear the ring, please. Please clear the ring. Let's clear the ring. Nelson, can you get them guys out of here? Yes. Please clear the ring.
All right, clear the ring. Clear everybody back. Clear everybody back. Clear everybody back.
Let's clear the ring, please.
I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't see no hand.
Done. Done. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the scoring of the official. Referee Tony Perez scores about 144, 141. Judge Frank Cappuccino scores about 144, 141. And Judge Tony Castellano scores about 144, 140. The winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated, and the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Spinks. Michael Spinks.
Well, there you have the official verdict, and as we mentioned, Ray, I've seen stranger things happen. That was a lot closer than you or Larry and I saw this fight.
I'm so surprised the fact the fight was that close. The fight was not that close in my book. Although a very good fight by both fighters. I mean, they fought a very, very impressive fight.
So the referee and one of the judges scoring a 144, 141. That is quite close. And Tony Castellano, the other judge, scoring a 144, 140. So the judge is consistent at least, but seeing it as a lot closer situation than...
Alexis Arguello was a great technician. He was a great champion inside the ring and outside the ring. He was a very good person.
In the red corner on my right, wearing black trunks, hailing from Anaheim, California. Fine record of 18 knockouts in his 22 wins. Weighing in at 133 3/4 pounds, the outstanding challenger, Roberto Elizondo. The world over, a great record of 59 knockouts and a 72 wins, weighing a trim and ready 135 pounds, one of the few men to hold world titles in 3 different divisions, the defending World Boxing Council lightweight champion, great Alexis Arguello.
All right, Ray. Well, the referee, Joey Curtis, gives the instructions. I know you've got just a special message for a special youngster.
Well, Tim, I know my little pal in Toledo, Ohio, Louis Gonzalez, watching this dynamite champion match.
All right, there's the tail of the tape. Alexis Arguello, 135. Elizondo, 133 3/4. A slight height advantage to the champion. And as you can see, if it matters at all, and sometimes it doesn't matter at all, Elizondo, a little bigger upper body with enormous biceps for a 135-pounder. This is round number 1. The champion in beige trunks on the left of your screen. The challenger, Elizondo, in black. The referee, Joey Curtis. The 10-point scoring system in effect here, WBC rules, and the scoring done by 3 judges at ringside, all from Las Vegas: Dwayne Ford, Chuck Minker, and Lou Tabbitt. No 3 knockdown rule in this 15-round championship bout.
Tim, in watching Elizondo train, I noticed that he jabbed across his body and dropped his left hand which means that when he jabs, he's open for a right hand. I'm sure a smart fighter like Arguello is going to find that out during the fight.
Watching the champion train on Wednesday, he was extremely sharp. Appeared very ready for this bout. His sparring session was just a classic example of textbook boxing. Elizondo looked very fit. He's been training for this fight for 5 months. It was scheduled prior to the Ray Mancini defense. So Elizondo has had plenty of preparation, and he is in outstanding shape, weighing in at 133 1/4.
Well, Tim, Alexander, when he throws his left jab, it stays out there just a little bit too long. And Arguello, being the type of champion he is, he's a very patient champion, and I think he's just going to wait and see what happens in the later rounds.
Commented about Elizondo, primarily a body puncher, but in pre-fight discussions, he said, I can box. I've got the reach and the height to stand in there with Arguello and go either way, but his strength is to get inside and bang away at the body. Number 1, Tim Ryan, Gil Clancy, Sugar Ray Leonard here in Las Vegas, bringing you live WBC Lightweight Championship action.
Arguello is a very good counterpuncher also, especially inside.
Champion scoring a combination. Less than a minute to go, round 1.
Elizondo is a little tight, and that's naturally so. After all, he's challenging for the championship of the world. It's his first big opportunity. And a lot of times when a fighter is tight, they can get nailed and hurt early.
Another scoring combination from Arguello, the champion on the right of your screen.
Arguello seems to be setting this man up for a left uppercut or either a left hook.
Under 30 seconds to go, round 1. Quite a contrast in championship styles. A long right hand from Arguello scored. Elizondo responded to 2 punches of his own that failed to land. Final seconds, round 1. Round number 2. Alexis Arguello defends his crown. A little off balance there, but again, the experience. He grabbed on to Elizondo to prevent himself from tripping. Arguello on the right of your screen. Elizondo the challenger in black. But a contrast in championship styles from Aaron Pryor a week ago to the classic boxing style of Alexis Arguello, right?
Well, Arguello, now, you notice he's using that left jab quite often, and he's constantly setting up Elizondo. Elizondo has a bad habit of coming inside and dropping his head. Arguello has a very good left uppercut and a very good and powerful left hook.
He also has a very good right uppercut. He just about has everything. He's really a tough guy to try to figure out how to beat. In the corner, Jackie McCoy told Elizondo to get low and get underneath that left jab, but he's standing straight up and he's getting nailed. Elizondo has a slight cut on the bridge of his nose.
Laser-like left jab brought that damage. Arguello has hardly missed it at all since the fight began. We're in round 2.
Arguello never had trouble with a guy that Elizondo style possesses. He has trouble with guys that can box.
Solid right hand to the head of the challenger. Elizondo showing his gameness, bores right back in.
Ray, you're right. You notice there is no side-to-side movement at all. No side-to-side movement on Elizondo's part. He's right in front of Arguello all the time, and that is dangerous.
Well, I think Elizondo is trying to pretty much smother Arguello's punches, and it's very difficult because Arguello has all the physical attributes, all the punches, major assets in each field.
Well, as you say, Ray, you have to outsmart him, use your ring generalship, and go side to side. That's the way Villamar Fernandez managed to get a decision from him, by going side to side, move to the right, move to the left, and never staying right in front of him.
Under a minute to go, round 2.
Surprisingly enough, Elizondo is still a little tight. And reiterating what you said earlier, Gil, the fact that here he has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fight for a title, and he's still a little tight.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in the second round. Elizondo, born December 8, 1955 in Corpus Christi. Won 80 fights as an amateur, losing only 10. Won the Texas Golden Gloves title 4 times. Started as an amateur at the age of 12. Wife Linda here at ringside. Son Robert, his little girl Veronica. Final seconds, round 2.
We'll have more of them.
Round number 3 scheduled for 15. The champion Alexis Arguello defending his lightweight crown for just the second time. The challenger on the attack, Elizondo. First time that he's been able to get a couple together. Scored with a right to the head after starting down below.
Well, Elizondo is following out instructions. He was told to not to stay so far away from Arguello because Arguello is a very good boxer on the outside. The best way to beat him is inside or either to outbox him.
That's Elizondo's game is on the inside, but he hasn't gone in there, hasn't been able to get in there thus far. We're in round 3. Oh, good right hand by Elizondo. Snap back the head of the champion.
Well, Eddie Futch in Arguello's corner told him to use that jab even more than he has been using. He says, keep that jab going, keep this guy back. So now you have 2 corners. One guy's telling him to get inside, and the other guy's telling him to keep the other fella outside.
Good flurry by both fighters and a big left hand by Elizondo. Now backing up the champion. Elizondo has certainly relaxed and is looking more confident on this attack here in the 3rd round.
Slowing that left hook right hand combination. He landed a couple of good right hands.
Arguello's problem is the fact that he's being hit by that overhand right by Elizondo, and the reason for that is because he's moving straight back instead of sidestepping.
Arguello has lost only 4 times in his career. We know he can take a punch, and he's taken a few here in the 3rd round from Elizondo. Good left hook to the body from the champion. No damage done in that exchange from Elizondo. Arguello blocking and slipping.
Arguello can't stand back and let Elizondo continue to punch like he's doing. He has to get right back to what he did in the 1st round with that left jab and continue to set his man up.
Less than 30 seconds to go, round 3.
Hey, that's exactly what he was told to do in the corner, but the other guy's not letting him do it now.
This is Elizondo's fight right here. This is the way he has rolled up his record. With only 1 loss, 22 victories. We didn't see it in the first 2 rounds. Final seconds of round 3. Looking back at 3rd round action, the challenger Elizondo, having backed up the champion, has a good scoring flurry here. And there's that overhand right you mentioned, Ray.
Well, Arguello must go back to his basics with that left jab because Elizondo is continuing to score with that overhand right.
This is round number 4 as we're back live at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. The WBC Lightweight Championship. Alexis Arguello defending it for the 2nd time. He won the featherweight title back in 1974, defended that 4 times successfully, won the super featherweight title in January of 78, defended that crown 8 times, won the lightweight title in June of 81 over Jim Watt, and is making his 2nd title defense at 135 pounds.
Ray, you mentioned that overhand right. That's exactly what Jackie McCoy told Elizondo. He said, you're doing good with that right hand. Use it more often. Let's see if he does it.
He should, Gil, but he should mix his punch up a little bit more instead of doing the same thing over and over again because Arguello is waiting for that overhand right and left hook.
I know if I was working with Arguello, I'd be telling him to move side to side, a little lateral movement.
Toe-to-toe they go, and down goes Elizondo. A short chopping right hand off the rope from Arguello, who calmly goes to the neutral corner. Elizondo looks a little glassy-eyed, but all right. Joey Curtis, the referee, checks him out. It was Elizondo on the attack, and he scored well. But the counter-punching of the champion, Arguello, sent Elizondo to the canvas.
Well, you think Elizondo would be looking to smother Arguello. He's looking to fight with him.
Well, Elizondo's a little dazed now from that knockdown. And here we're going to see Arguello just put his punches together. I think it's just a matter of time from this point on.
Arguello is just Mr. Cool in there.
He showed no emotion with the knockdown punch. He just went calmly to the neutral corner, prepared himself to come out and try and finish Elizondo. Under a minute to go in round 4, left hook lands from the champion.
Setting him up, Ray. He's setting him up for that right hand.
Well, very few champions have the quality of Arguello. He's a composed fighter. He takes his time, very patient.
Way has that right hand cocked. There it is. Looks like the trigger on a gun.
Good left hook followed champion. We'd like to alert our local stations along the line. We'll be going to a 30-second station break after this round. Less than 30 seconds remaining down round 4. Elizondo's been stopped only once in his career on cuts in the 7th round. Final seconds. Round number 4. We'll be back with more of this WBC Lightweight Championship after this word from your local station. Alexis Arguello will show you that knockdown punch, Gil.
Well, here they are. They're trading punches, and with a big bomber like Arguello, that can be fatal. And there's that big right hand. Back again with a left hook, and down he goes. The right hand was the one that did the damage, though.
As we mentioned, Elizondo has lost only once in 23 fights, stopped on cuts in the 7th round by Viterbo Romas in Houston, January of 1979. Otherwise, he's been doing the knocking out. This is round number 5 of the scheduled 15-round title fight. The champion on the right of your screen, now circling to the left, the challenger Elizondo in black. Tim Ryan, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Gil Clancy live from the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas.
Arguello has the boxing ability, the skill, the experience, but Elizondo is tough. He's got plenty of heart.
He has a great deal of heart, Gil, but I think he's never faced a guy quite like Arguello with Arguello's talent. You notice inside, Elizondo started to punch, and Arguello just stayed there and showed his masterful defense.
Well, we mentioned that he's a master counterpuncher.
The utter calm that he displays, no matter what the course of the fight is, Arguello just seems to be in command. Even if he gets hit, it looks like, well, okay, I know what to do next.
You know, it's amazing. He throws a lazy right hand out there, and he lulls you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, one comes in like a bullet.
If you watch the balance of Arguello, very good balance he has.
Round number 5. From the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas, lightweight championship action. We'll be back in 2 weeks at the same location for the WBA version of the lightweight title. Juan Noel defends against Gonzalo Montellano here on CBS Sports Saturday, December 5th.
Elizondo is amazing. He gets nailed with big punches, and he punches right back.
Well, you see the damage that left hook by Arguello is doing to Elizondo. Arguello goes under and over.
That hook landed from the champion. Under a minute to go, round 5. Joey Curtis, the referee, doing an outstanding job, a very unobtrusive presence in the ring. He knows exactly what he has in front of him here, one of the great champions and an obviously very competitive challenger.
But Tim, I still notice Elizondo's left jab. It comes out and it floats. And with a guy like Arguello, you ask for trouble, for overhand right.
Well, Tim, that's what we noticed in training the other day, Ray. Vulnerable for that right-hand counter.
Final seconds, round number 5. Number 6 from Las Vegas, Nevada, here on CBS Sports Saturday, where an interested observer back in the studio with Brent is Ray Boom Boom Mancini, who is a 14th round knockout victim of Arguello in his first title defense of this WBC lightweight crown. We'll be hearing from him later.
You know, Tim, I think this is going to be the round. Arguello has figured his man out, and I think he realized that his left hook is very effective along with that right hand.
Well, that's what Eddie Futch mentioned in the corner. He said, start throwing that left hook right-hand combination. That's going to do the job.
Jackie McCoy telling his challenger, Elizondo, to stay low. Don't be so upright.
But you notice he's not doing it, Tim. He's standing straight as a stick, and you just cannot do that against a sharpshooter like Arguello. You've got to change your direction and change your height. It's not doing either one.
From the champion.
Well, again, like Gil stated earlier, Arguello, he pokes his left jab out very slow. It floats out, and it makes you fall asleep, make an opponent falls asleep, and then boom, he comes with a powerful punch.
29-year-old champion began fighting in Managua, Nicaragua, as a young teenager, and since that time, 76 professional fights, 59 knockouts, 3 world championships in 3 different weight divisions. You can see why.
Well, Elizondo has to have more body movement. He's walking straight in into Arguello, and there's no feints or anything. He just walks straight in.
Been a lot of punches thrown in this fight. Both guys have to be in really great condition. If one fella starts to get a little tired, he can change things around a great deal. A lot of action.
Under a minute remaining, round number 6.
I don't know how you do it, but Elizondo is going to have to make Arguello lose his cool to get back in this fight. He's going to have to land a big, big punch.
If Elizondo can get inside and work the body of Arguello, maybe that will do some damage, but he has yet to get close enough to do any serious damage to him.
Well, and that was the game plan, and that's his history, too, of his success.
Well, almost every time he's tried to get inside, he's been punished.
Well, Elizondo stated earlier, he said he wants to capitalize on the mistake that Ray Boom Boom Mancini made, but he's not doing that.
Those who watched that great fight, Mancini and Arguello, remember Mancini did a lot of business inside the first 10 rounds.
I was very impressed with Mancini.
Round number 7, Tim Ryan with Sugar Ray Leonard, Gil Clancy live from Las Vegas. A reminder of more championship boxing. This one opens with a flurry in this 7th round, and it's the champion coming up furiously.
If Arguello kept that up like he did just a second ago, he can get Elizondo out of there.
He was throwing punches like he had an early appointment. He wants to go someplace else.
As though he had been playing possum for 6 rounds, too, apart from the knockdown counter-punching in round 4.
I don't think one punch is going to get Elizondo out of there because he's taking some big shots by Arguello. It's going to be a series of combination, I feel.
Started to say we're going to see the other version of the lightweight title next week. They're making Saturday, December 5th. Pardon me, not next week, a week from next Saturday. Claude Noel defends his WBA crown against Gonzalo Montellano, 4:30 Eastern Time on CBS Sports Saturday, December 5th.
And fighting a guy like Elizondo, see, one punch stuns him, and you must take advantage of that opportunity and come back with 3, 4 more shots. Because he's a durable opponent.
And he's still in there. Ray, one big punch by Elizondo could maybe change things a little bit.
That's true, Gil. Could turn tables around.
You know, they're both in there. They're both fighting. Elizondo is not throwing any hard punches right now, though. He seems to be a little discouraged.
Flipping right hands forward from the champion to the ear of Elizondo.
Look at how beautiful he slips those punches. So calm and so cool.
You would feel that Joe would be a little frustrated after hitting Alexander with all those punches, but he's a very patient, very composed champion.
Well, that is good because fighters can get discouraged. I know when I work with fighters and sometimes they have a big advantage and keep hitting a guy and wouldn't go, and you have to tell him, hey, don't get discouraged, just keep doing it over again. Eventually he will go. It's like water wearing out a rock.
Well, so now you know how I feel again when I fought Tommy Hearns.
Well, you showed great patience, and of course those tables were turned a couple of times. That most interesting fight by Sugar Ray over Thomas Hearns. Round number 7 here of this WBC lightweight championship.
Arguello's playing a chess game, and he's waiting for checkmate.
I didn't even know you were a chess player.
Oh, superb.
Just missed with that long right hand. Less than 30 seconds ago. Right to the chin of Elizondo, and fortunately for Elizondo, it was right on the end of Arguello's punch, or he might not be standing up at this point.
He's hurt though, Tim.
He's hurt, but he was able to get up. That was a tremendous punch, and down he goes again, and that might be the finish. Short left of the body appeared to be the problem there, and he spits out his mouthpiece. Elizondo getting the count from referee Joey Curtis, but he is hurt. It was a body punch, and that's it. He cannot continue. Alexis Arguello has again successfully defended a world championship 17 fights in a row. He has defended a title. This time, the lightweight crown of the WBC for the second time. It occurs here in the 7th round.
One thing about Ray Mancini, he was an aggressor.
Good night, sweet prince!
He always kept on coming for...
Native son now of Italy, Patricio Sumbu Kalambay are getting set to contest the WBA World Middleweight Boxing Championship. It's right here for you on ESPN, coming right up from Livorno in Italy. Marvin Hagler ringside along with Ray Mancini to see if Barkley can ascend the throne of the WBA middleweight division. Stand by, we'll see.
The upset of the week is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need. The Texas Longhorns were 2-3 coming into War Memorial Stadium to face the nationally ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. Although rushing
title back to America, who certainly is, tense, but he'll use it to, effective aggression, I'm sure.
Kalambay with 42 wins, 3 losses, and a draw in his career. Barkley 22-3 with 14 knockouts.
You said earlier, Don, this certainly is an opportunity of a lifetime for Iran Barkley. I met Iran in 1983 when he was a sparring partner for then champion Davey Moore. And he made such a good showing and such a name for himself then. So I'm glad to see that he's getting a chance for the fight for the title.
And marvelous Marvin Hagler, what do you expect from this bout coming up?
Well, I don't know right yet. To me they look very even. I expected 50-50. I think the first round is going to probably determine how this fight's going to come out and what kind of pace that's going to be set, for the 15 rounds.
It is a very small ring. Actually, it's 2 feet in measurement smaller than the minimum allowed by the rules on there, not 16 feet. I wonder if that would favor Iran Barkley.
Sure. You know what's different about this? Neither one of them guys has been in for a title shot yet, so they have to fill each other out.
I think the third distance certainly would benefit Barkley. He is the stronger of the two. He's the pressured fighter. It's easy to cut off the ring easier.
It is scheduled for 15 rounds, and that is longer than Barkley, who has gone 12 as his maximum has ever traveled to the pro fight ring. Barkley in the black trunk, and Kalambay in the white. The favorite of this crowd here, totaling 4,200, standing room only in Livorno, Italy.
Well, one thing that's good, when you fight away from home, you know you got to fight harder. And if he wants to bring the title back to America, that's just what he's going to have to do. Because he knows if it goes the distance here, I'm quite sure he won't get it.
Well, as we saw in our earlier feature on Barkley, he suffered a bad cut. In fact, many other places might have stopped that bout against Ampero. He went on to win a controversial decision. And I saw the scar from that. He runs the risk today of having that open up on him, I'm sure.
Well, what I've seen of Barkley, he takes the fight right to you. He's not scared to be hit. But I think right now he's got to box a little bit more. Get that jab pumping.
It's a very tentative first round. The jab is very tame at this stage, flicking it infrequently. As it is Kalambay who's coming on with any kind of aggression here in the early going with his jab.
You were speaking earlier, Don, of the eye. Believe me, speaking from experience, you can't go into the ring thinking about that. You just go in and do your job. You figure, hey, you're going to get your face out of the way of the punches. And if it should cut, hey, then you'll deal with it then.
Yeah, I'm sure he's trying not to think of it, but it could be a factor in this bout
of course.
As we go along. Then again, it may not come to bear.
Well, I hope these guys just make it look like a championship bout. You know, that's my bout up there. They go,
that's one of them. You got it. Well, you haven't got it for the moment. All right, Marvin, what is the plan now? You want to let these people sort this out and get active again, or are you still thinking about it?
Well, let's let the world find out, see how these guys are. They'll let me know whether they want me back or not.
You want to see if the demand can be created, is that it?
Oh, yeah. Marvin. Come back.
You're getting a sampling of that here in Livorno.
Oh, definitely.
It is scheduled for 15. Barkley and Kalambay.
Well, to tell you a little story, what happened by WBC, because we wouldn't fight this guy Graham out there in London, and then Kalambay went out there and put him away, so, you know, now he's got the opportunity to fight for the title.
That was Kalambay's last fight on May the 26th, winning over Graham in London.
Well, I couldn't make that fight because I was fighting someone else named, what's that guy's name again? Leonard?
Never forget a name, right? Yeah, that was a much bigger chance than the bout with Mr. Graham would have been. So a very uneventful first round, but they've got a long way to go. Scheduled for 15. Stay with us. Kalambay from the corner on the right now, the white trunks circling against Iran Barkley of the Bronx, New York. The second round, scheduled for 15. The WBA middleweight championship on the line here in Livorno in Italy on ESPN. Barkley getting a little more aggressive, showing signs of it here in the second round.
Yeah,
he fired the left of the body and then laid off, unfortunately.
But he's reaching, though, Don. He's reaching. And he could find himself in trouble by reaching.
I think at this point we're seeing the switch in roles. We thought it was Barkley that would be coming forward, and Kalambay that would be backing up.
Well, he's backing up just for the moment now, but it's most of the aggression that's come from Kalambay.
Don, you see that Barkley's throwing a lot of left hooks down underneath and coming to the top. They said he was working on that in the gym, not throwing 2, but 3, 4, 5 left hooks, one after the other.
You saw one right there.
Well, sometimes, you know, the crowd can work against you when you're a favorite here, you know. And Kalambay have to blank out the crowd and just go to work, concentrate on what he's got to do in there.
All right, we have a round to be judged by these two. How did you two gentlemen see it, Ray?
I had Kalambay winning 10-9 just because at the end I think he started dictating the pace and he took center range. No big deal.
Well, I got it even. I got it 10-10.
We got a long way to go.
Also, if I may get a chance real fast before this fight starts to heat up, Don, I think the people of ESPN, and I'm sure I speak for everyone, when we say that the people of Livorno have treated us royal. The people at the Hotel Palazzo have been very, very good. The accommodations have been great. I'm sure even that Al Bernstein would find these appealing.
I will have Al back with us in Las Vegas next week. But to show you how good the accommodations are for Marvin, he's staying where the King of Italy used to spend his weekends.
That's right. I tell you, the ceilings are very high in there. I can have a ballroom dance in my living room.
You could bowl in the living room, I'm sure.
You can even tell Al that Liza Minnelli's was spent last week there, so it's not the Hilton, but it'll do.
Now Mancini and Hagler are gracing this old hotel. Well, these two, Barkley and Kalambay, start to mix it up a little better here in the second round.
Well, you know,
more power now from Iran.
Both of them are looking for early knockouts, though. And they got to realize they got a long way to go in there.
Good shot. Now, he dug that left hook underneath and that right hand to the top. Good combination. That's what Iran's going to have to do.
But Iran is getting hit with he's leaving his head up when he's throwing them.
What about his left hand? I know it comes up and down, but it doesn't look to be as dangerous as
look at his head, though. That's where he's going to get caught with a hook.
Good point.
You just watch how his head keeps coming up every time he throws those body shots.
Defense has been a problem for him throughout his pro career. This is 26th professional bout shooting for the WBA middleweight title here tonight.
Well, Kalambay looks real calm, though. He's just waiting for Barkley to make a mistake.
There's the bell to end the second.
When the people who run America want a good shave, they run to me. I'm Milton Pitts. And at my barbershop...
Very calm expression of the face of Kalambay as he comes out for round 3 against Barkley. They begin to mix it more in that second round after a very tentative first in which both men bailed his opponent out.
Physically, these two guys are about the same. Barkley may have a half-inch to an inch height advantage. The reach, almost the same. Again, Barkley has a slight advantage there.
They're weighing just half a pound apart today. Kalambay at 160 and Barkley at 159.5.
But,
well, however, there's a story to that.
Yes.
Well, if you notice something here, Kalambay keeps moving all the time towards his left. And pretty soon Barkley will probably start zeroing in because he's open for a right hand. He's dropping that left hand down low. Kalambay is.
You're listening to Marvin Hank.
Good. Great. Good shot. Yes, you did, man.
Now he's going to...
You heard him. He caught him on the end of that punch. Cut him on the end of that punch.
Now, what Kalambay's got to do is stay in tight. He's letting Iron Barkley get off with them long right hands, and he's still circling to that left side. What Barkley's got to do, he's got to throw that left hook and straight right hand.
Step over to the right, Mark?
That's right. Keep that right hand.
He flashes
right here,
and not now.
Right there, he just got caught because Barkley keeps his head up when he comes in.
Yes, he's throwing that left hook from too far away.
I think he's concentrating too much on trying to knock this guy out when he should be trying to put his punches together.
A little over anxious in pursuit.
There it is.
There's a good shot right there.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Now he's losing his self-composure, and that can get you in trouble. Barkley don't like to be hit, and when he gets hit, he gets aggressive, and he loses all self-control like that. Run into things like that.
Kalambay looks most composed and collected.
Well, they've both been stung to me right now.
The other thing I'm noticing about Barkley is that his hands are getting, as we say in the business, ragged. They're not staying in front of him. They're all over the place. Oh, there's a good shot.
Yeah, but look, there's his head up again. That's the right hand.
Tries to follow there with the right, yep.
So that left hook in the straight right hand. That's what he's got to do, follow up with it. You can come back with another left hook. He's got to put his combination together.
I'm sure when he gets back to the corner, Hector Roca, his trainer, will tell him correct these mistakes.
Well, you can see also Kalambay just pulled back out of there, and that could be a bad mistake also. That's what happens. When he backs up out of there, your head comes up, and your hands go down. There's the right hand that I was also telling you about. Now, if Barkley can put some authority on it, that'll be a perfect shot for him. Kalambay is going the same way, circling towards the left all night long.
But it's a very small ring, just 16 feet, and not much place to run and hide. There's the bell.
In the race for a better shave, one remarkable razor is in a class by itself. The Rotatract from Norelco.
Barkley threw it right in, caught him right at the end of it. He didn't get him square with it, because if he did, could have put him down, maybe.
A good following left hook to end that flurry.
Yes, he did hurt him, though.
This is the 4th round, scheduled for 15 in Livorno, Italy.
Well, I gave it both. I gave it 10-10 because of the reason that I think they both got stung. He got caught with that uppercut earlier, too. So they're both right now starting to heat up, and they're both finding their targets.
How did you see the last round, Ray?
I give it to Barkley 10-9. I think that he hit him with the more aggressive shots, the stronger punches, and I think now that he's starting to dictate the fight. He's starting to do the things that he wants to do.
He is reputed to be the heavier puncher of the two.
But Ken, like Marvin said earlier, remains to be seen.
You know, this fight's very even to me right now. You know, no one's dominated it at all. Anything can happen in this fight.
May I also want to say, Don, that we have Iran Barkley, even though we are in Italy, has some support here. We have his wife here. We have American film actor Danny Aiello, who's doing a film in Rome. He's here cheering a friend on.
Well, Barkley was an amateur who had to give up his Olympic dream. He became a father of a young daughter just a couple of years before the Olympics and decided he'd better turn professional. And now he's very close to a world title if he can beat this tough opponent, Sumbu Kalambay.
Well, Kalambay looked like he's starting to get aggressive now. He might have found something in that last round. See, there you go right there. Nice right hand. And it was a long right hand. Again, just on the tip of it.
Kalambay, you can see he's a slick fighter. He turned his shoulder. He rolled with the punch. This is what I said about earlier, the intelligence. They say it's the intelligence of Kalambay versus the strength of Barkley.
Yeah, he has the look of a very clever fighter. Will Barkley be clever enough not to get caught? Because we say defense has not been his strong suit.
You know, defense is your best offense, and your best offense is your defense.
Very well put, Mark.
Good point.
I've been in there 17 years.
Guys found out a thing or two, hasn't he, Ray?
I did a little bit.
There's that hook from Kalambay now.
Well, you know what I noticed? Every time I told you when he's getting wild, now Barkley's getting wild, he started lifting his head up every time he throws that crazy left hook to the body. He's getting careless a little bit. He's gambling.
And he pays for that exchange.
Marv,
there's the jab from Kalambay.
As an experienced fighter, what would you tell Barkley in the corner? He's starting to cock that left hand, and every time he does, Kalambay steps over to the left. Would you tell him to feint with the left hook and drop the right hand?
Feint and see what he's going to do. Oh! Kalambay's going to catch him because Barkley's getting careless.
But Barkley right there had a good exchange. A couple of hooks and three pretty good-looking jabs.
Every time he cocks the left arm, Kalambay moves over to the left, away from the hook. He should feint with the left hook and drop the right hand.
Tries to pin him in the corner and nail him there, but he takes the left hook from Kalambay. And so the fourth round is over here in the Borno. It is scheduled for 15. Stay with us on ESPN from Italy.
The most wanted criminal in the universe. It's not human.
Fourth round action.
See, this is the shot that I've been telling you about. Barkley starts to drop that right hand a lot. And Kalambay is going to start countering right over that right. Right over the left, excuse me.
Yes. He has done that before and did a pretty good job, at least a better job, of keeping it up in the first couple of rounds, but it's sinking lower and lower.
I think Kalambay is starting to get a little smart, man. Like Ray says, he's starting to use the experience. He's rolling his shoulders, taking the edge off the power of the punch.
Barkley said, my left hand tends to sag a little. I have to constantly remind myself of it.
Well, you know what every boxer should do is always use that jab. That jab is what's supposed to set your opponent up for a right hand or a left hook or whatever.
See, Marvin said earlier, every time Barkley cocks the left hand, he also sticks his chin up, which you can see he is doing. He's going to have to tuck it closer to his chest.
Don't worry. Kalambay will find it. He'll tuck it down then.
Good right hand and a chin to clear that real fast, right, Mark?
You're lying. There it is again. That's the shot we were just talking about.
The wicked left hand.
Kalambay is watching him real good, real close.
There it is again.
Aaron Barkley's getting careless. He wants to put this man out, and that's the wrong thing to do. Take your time in there. Pick your spots. Be smart. This game of boxing is a chess and checker game.
Yeah, no sense being impatient, I guess. You're saying you got 15 rounds of time for wear them down and use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
This is the thing, talking to Iran Barkley earlier today. He was saying that he knows it's a 15-round fight, and each round he's taken separately as a separate fight, and he's not going to go in there and try to do the job too soon. He feels that if he can keep the pressure up, it'll catch him in the later round.
Well, what Kalambay is doing right now is countering. He's just countering right back. When he throws a punch, he's countering right back. And that's smart on his part.
And often catching Barkley on the way in with a good left hand of his.
Well, you know Barkley was getting off first in the beginning. Now he's trying to go for power. And that's slowing him down and throwing off his accuracy. And he's getting hit more. That's what I mean. Kalambay's beating him to the punch now. Just by
with that left hand. Yep,
just the jab. That's what we was talking about. And that's what they teach you first in the gym.
There's the hook. He uses that left hand very well.
Yes, he does. Really intelligent.
And you can see Kalambay is keeping his hands up a little higher than what Barkley is.
There's a hook at the end of that exchange by Barkley that landed with the left hand. Again, in the main, he's getting beaten to the punch here by Kalambay as it reaches the fifth round of action for this championship. Referee is Isidro Rodriguez from Venezuela. And he's letting them do their thing. So they're just about a third of the way home here. Scheduled for 15 in Italy. Stay with us.
Whether you're a collector of special edition knives or just look...
Example of that last round of Barkley letting his defenses down, getting caught with a good left hand from Kalambay.
He's kind of losing his composure now. He's going for the knockout, and that's why he's making a lot of mistakes out there, Don.
This is round 6. Don Chevrier with Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Ray Mancini ringside. Middle for you is the WBA middleweight crown is up for grabs. Rand Barkley in the black trunks and Patricio Sumbu Kalambay in the white.
Well, this is a very interesting fight for me. I wonder what Tommy Hearns and Rodan are doing in Las Vegas right now.
They may have their minds on other things, like next Thursday night.
Well, I'll be there.
Frank Tate won 1/3 of the championship over Elijah Day. Well, Dan and Hearns go at it. These two are here tonight looking for another third of the title that once belonged to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I get a feeling he is thoughts about having it returned to him.
Well, I don't like this atmosphere, but it's interesting.
It seems lately that Rand Barkley is becoming a one-handed fighter. He's got to start dropping that right hand. But certainly feint with it, let the guy know that he has it.
Yeah, the left can set up so much, but you got to follow with it.
What about the over? I think Barkley's going to throw the overhand right is what he's trying to set up Kalambay with. Right there.
Yeah.
He's trying to throw the overhand.
Yep.
Because that would be a good shot for him right now. Because Kalambay is dropping that left hand now also. Because he's not throwing any of his punches straight now. He's looping everything. See? You kind of forget about boxing.
All right, let's see how these two world champions have scored it so far.
I scored last round 10-9 Kalambay, I'm sorry. And I had a 48-47, 1 point lead for Kalambay.
Marvin?
Exactly, that's the same thing. I gave Kalambay that round, 10-9.
Well, Kalambay has shown that he can initiate action and be a good counterpuncher as well.
Well, they're both throwing hooks now.
He slipped inside of Barkley's hook and dropped his own. Look, and he's starting to roll the head. He's rolling the shoulders, rolling the head.
But Ray, he's also dropping that left hand.
Yes, he is. So preoccupied with a straight right.
It takes a good right hand right there. That's all it takes is a nice straight right hand. I think Barkley looked like he's getting hurt, you know.
Oh, good shots to the body.
He's hurt.
And some blood now coming from the mouth.
Yeah, he's getting wild. He's getting wild.
Almost getting
wild. And this is what I told you about Barkley. This is the only thing that gets him in trouble. This is how my younger brother beat him.
Robbie Sim.
Oh, yeah.
Dropped it.
I'd like to see him get back in there.
That's the end of the round. It was a very good one for Kalambay as Barkley's defense simply fell apart in the final minute of that round.
Don't get me away. Go away.
Good of the corner now.
Let's it out, quick. Don't get me one, baby. Okay, good job. You're gonna stay. Keep working easy. Don't rush. You're gonna stay already, stay. Okay? Take your time. Take your breath. Nice work. Stay in the body, okay? You're gonna stay, baby. Don't rush.
Barkley's trainer Hector Roca in the corner there with Don Nelson the cup band. These guys finally discovered the body in that last round.
Good shots to the body, Don. This Kalambay starting to dig him right up.
Yeah, but you can see Barkley losing all his composure, though, hunting for the body.
Here's round 7 underway, approaching the midway point of this scheduled 15-round WBA middleweight championship bout.
Barkley's getting hit more now. And one thing that Kalambay has advantage of because the cornermen can't understand what Kalambay's people are saying to him in the corner. They're speaking Italian to him.
It's a good hook by Barkley again, but he is certainly catching more than he is giving.
Too far out. He's not stepping in with his punches at all. He's reaching. That's what I was telling you in the first round.
Kalambay certainly is sticking to his fight plan, though. He said he was going to stay at the end of a jab, move, then try to step in, throw flurries of punches, and then move again. Thus far, he's doing a good job of it.
Sure he is, Ray. You know, he's counterpunching now. Waiting for him to throw something like right there, and then counter from it, see?
Yeah, Barkley's starting from so far back, he can't help but be wild when he throws it.
Well, he's losing it right now.
Barkley seems that he's, I'm sure he looks surprised at Kalambay's speed.
I believe that Barkley's left eye is a little swollen over the top.
Well, that was the eye that caused some problems to him before.
Probably from the hard jab, that left jab that Kalambay is going. That's a nice right hand. Now, what he should do is pick up that left hand right now. I think he's spitting blood out of his mouth also.
Yeah, he was in the previous round, is again here. Kalambay very patiently has just fought his plan throughout this bout, and round by round you've seen him gain control while Barkley's frustration grows.
I wonder how come Barkley's not concentrating on trying to cut the ring off of Kalambay. He's just letting him walk around him. Right there, he's got him. And then he gets crazy and loses it.
Tried to follow with a right there, but couldn't control it.
Now he should have came back with a left hook and step in with the left hook.
There's a lunging right that lands from Kalambay.
I ran Barkley's legs, shuddered there for a moment. Now, I don't know if it's because he's hurt, or he's tired, or he just was off balance. But I'm going to start. You have to watch those legs from here on.
Well, they can tell you a lot, can't they?
Oh, that's for sure.
And you watch his hands too; they're also dropping. I see Barkley just took a quick look at me over here. Like, what am I doing wrong?
He thinks it's a tag team now.
Marvin said first thing is going after my title.
Barkley able to get less and less done as this fight progresses. Chopping right, a big left to follow.
And now, Russ Dean's Tri-City Nissan takes you back to the basics.
Come on, son, when you gonna learn? Those things are never gonna be good for anything.
Hard work and determination have long been the keys to success. The good people at Russ Dean's Tri-City Nissan realize the importance of this traditional work ethic while keeping pace with the latest in modern technology. Russ Dean's Tri-City Nissan in the Northwest Regional Autoplex in Pasco.
Fast, friendly, powerful. Take a Bite presents the Commodore Amiga family, the personal computers you've been looking for. Take the Amiga 500 and 1000. Both provide astonishing graphics, stereo audio, speech generation. They accept state-of-the-art software and peripherals for business, home, graphics, music, and other applications. And the Amiga 500 starts at under $700.
Alza le mani però Sumbu, anche la sinistra.
This was 7th round action. With the long left just grazing and then the hard chopping right landing from Kalambay.
Kalambay's corner was telling him, and I caught this in Italian, Don, not to stand there and punch with them, but use his speed. Use his speed. Don't stand there and punch with them. That's probably even though he's beating him to the punch.
It was Barkley who flashed speed earlier, but that has diminished greatly as the bout has progressed now to the halfway mark.
Well, he's still spitting out blood, you know. I think Barkley's not used to being used to seeing his blood.
Well, he certainly was in the last fight when he had that bad cut against Amparo, managed to win the fight. But this will be very uncomfortable for him at this stage.
I didn't think that he anticipated that Kalambay would be this tough.
Maybe not.
We were talking about last round where Barkley was looking a little bit tired. Let me assure everyone that he is in tremendous shape, great shape. He's had 3 sparring partners with him, and I think they're worth mentioning. Dennis Milton from New York, Richard Burton from New York, and also Roosevelt Williams from New York. These guys gave him tremendous training, tremendous sparring. I hear their ring wars were maybe more exciting than this fight, but he's certainly ready.
And the scoring in that last round, gentlemen?
I gave it to Kalambay again, 10-9, and I have him up by 3 points at this point.
Well, I gave him a 10-8. I think that Barkley is slipping.
His earlier momentum is on the wane.
I think he wants to try to end the fight kind of early, and that's what's messing him up.
He's been trying to do that for about 5 rounds now. Just getting more frustrated as a result.
Exactly. Frustrated. That's what you're saying, frustration.
The quick hands of Kalambay showing more and more as this bout progresses.
And you see Kalambay rolling with the punches.
You would know about looking at these two guys. how they're going to war now. That these two are the two of the nicest guys I've ever met going into a title fight. They've been hanging out, not together, but in the same room at the hotel lobby. Both very soft-spoken and both very gentle guys, but they're certainly not showing that today in the ring.
Well, they got a prize that is valued by both. WBA middleweight title. Barkley twisted around there now. Took one on the chin. He comes back with the left hand again. But you get the feeling that he is so off-balanced defensively, he's going to pay and pay and pay as the fight continues. He's never gone 15. He certainly has trained for it and done that, he says, in the gym. He has gone 12 rounds. Barkley we're speaking now. Rodriguez, the referee from Venezuela, has not had much to do. But the momentum has shifted to Kalambay as he takes that edge now through 8 rounds.
I'm Duke. This is my car. These are my people. This is my cook, Purelated. Why Purelated?
Came up. Bingo. The uppercut wisely thrown by Kalambay.
Well, I believe that Barkley knows right now that he's slipping. I just heard his corner tell him. He just asked his corner, told his corner that he was messing up. He knows he was messing up. And his corner tried to give him more confidence by saying that the fight is real close, but you're winning it. And I don't see it that way.
I think misleading information, we would all agree, from Hector Rucka, but he's trying to encourage him at this stage and keep him at his game or get him back to his game.
Well, the way that that's going right now, I got 68 for Kalambay and 66 for Barkley.
Ray, you've got a wider margin, I think.
Well, after the last round, after the 7th, I had a 68-65, but I now have a 78-74. It's a 4-point margin.
Oh, boy, Kalambay is really tattooing in here now as he catches all kinds of leather with both hands coming in.
You know what I'm wondering right now? I'm wondering, that weight loss that Barkley had, I wonder if that's affecting him right now, that he's not getting his punching power the way that he would like to.
That's a good point, Larry. That was his story you were talking about, Don.
Well, this morning he was 153 and a half, and he had to down a couple of bananas and drink pails and pails of water.
This is something, again, I don't agree with. The people at the WBA forced him to gain weight so he would be over the junior middleweight limit, because at first when he weighed in, he was underneath it. What difference does it make, as long as he's underneath it?
As long as you make the weight for that division, that's all that counts.
They made him eat to gain weight.
Well, you know what's happening. Kalambay is taking control. And he's just taking his time out there now, picking his spot. He knows that he's got a beaten man out there. And all he got to do is keep us undiscouraged, and that's what he wants to do.
I get the impression, Marlon Hegler, that you're a little more impressed with Kalambay now.
Oh, good left hook.
Now, see, this is the stuff that Kalambay can't afford. He's got to keep that jab moving and keep his balance.
I don't know why Byron Barkley's not jumping on him. He just hurt him with left hook and he backed off.
He's stuck.
Well, I think he's a little worried right now that he might run out of gas, probably by that pound that we were talking about.
Hey, Marv, when you're going for that title, you're going all out, right, brother? I mean, that's it. You just go all out.
What are you talking about?
There are no gas stations along the way. You got to have a full tank and hold as much as you can.
I think Kalambay right now is starting to get that tiger feeling in him and probably take it to him and try to put him out in this round. Put his rounds over.
But he did get nailed with a mighty big blow from Barkley. He just couldn't sustain and follow it.
Well, he's making Barkley work, that's for sure right now. And he's keeping his right hand up, which you just seen up by his head. He's worried about Barkley's left hook.
He did win respect, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. He is up a lot higher now.
But again, you made a good point earlier when you said the weight might have hurt him. He might be a little too weak.
That's what it looks like to me now. He's starting to give Kalambay some respect now.
And that's been due for about 6 rounds the way I've seen the fight.
We're going to get it. Keep using. We're going to get it. Okay? Don't stop your job already. Wait me with that jab a lot. Okay? I'm finishing the back. Wait me with that jab. I'm finishing the back. Come on, let's do it. Come, okay? Come on, baby. Take your break. Let's do it, baby.
More encouraging words that time from Roca than just the fact that the fight is close.
I'm looking at Barkley's face. He was very discouraged.
Wildness again cost him. This time he ducked out of the way, but in the previous round he got stunned for being off balance. And he paid for it as he backed across the ring.
Well, you know what it is. Both of these guys are sparring really well, you know, and I think that the water that's on the canvas right now, because it's a slippery looking canvas here, and I think that's what's throwing Iron Barkley's balance off.
Don, this is what they call a fast ring, where the canvas is slippery, it's stretched across very tight.
What Barkley has to do in order to come back into this fight is start shooting more right hands, more straight right hands.
There's a bunch of lefts pawing at him there, but no rights that followed.
Well, you see Kalambay's already got his number. That's why he's got his right hand up higher now. But every time he backs up, though, he drops his left hand, and Barkley don't take advantage of it by stepping in and shooting the right hand. He just stands there and reaches.
Again, like I said earlier, there's the role reversals here. Kalambay is the aggressor, Barkley's boxing, and I don't know. I just didn't expect this.
Well, there's that wet canvas again, right there. Yep.
That's what I was talking about, the water on the canvas. That was no knockdown.
All right, let's see how Mancini and Hagler have it scored so far.
I gave that last round to Iran Barkley. I think he hit him with some good shots. He started coming on. And I now have it 87-84, a 4-point lead for Kalambay.
Well, I gave it to Kalambay 10-9. He seems more composed.
This is the 10th round. It is scheduled for 15 in Livorno, Italy. Yeah, that's causing more and more problems.
And again, Barkley comes up with the head. Every time he picks it up, and that's how he gets tagged.
It is a fast back and a very compact one, this ring, to 16 feet in measurement.
Well, you know, this is a fast pace, too. And these guys have been throwing a lot of leather.
But a very active fight since a very terrible first run. And here's the slippage again. Here's Kalambay with his head caught between the top two strands of the rope.
That was a nice move by Barkley because he was coming right at him.
He turned that around in a hurry, didn't he?
He got out of there.
But look at Kalambay move that head. He's riding with the punches, taking the steam out of Barkley's punches and making a miss. He just rides, bobs and weaves. Nice. I like what I see in Kalambay.
Well, you know what that does to you, Ray, when you miss.
Oh, that's for sure.
Takes all the steam out of your punches.
That's it. And at this point, Marv, like you said earlier, he looks like he's weakening, maybe because of weight loss. He surely can't afford to waste a lot of punches.
Well, maybe he's worried about that 15 rounds, too. He looks like he's hurt a little bit. Yeah. One good shot, he might go.
He's very discouraged. He looks in the corner.
Well, he keeps looking over at me. Why is he looking at me?
Well, you can't help him now.
Ain't nobody can help him now.
He's on his own, you're right. Well, Barkley gamely hangs in, but Kalambay winning more and more of the momentum here as the 10th round comes to an end.
It looks like the
World Middleweight Championship. Thomas Hearns versus Juan Domingo Roldan. The Hitman versus El Martillo. Juan Domingo Roldan. He destroyed Frank the Animal Fletcher. He's the only man to knock down Hagler, and he beat the Heat, James Kinchin. The Hitman, Thomas Hearns. He crushed Pepino Cuevas for his first title. He knocked Roberto Duran out cold, and he stopped rugged Mark Madal. Hearns versus Roldan, October 29th. Order now from your pay-per-view system.
I am British Caledonian Airways. I am Great Britain this fall. I am the rolling head.
11th round. It is scheduled for 15. Don Chevrier with Ray Mancini and Marvelous Marvin Hagler with you in Livorno, Italy on ESPN tonight. And that ring, we got some attendants out there with towels trying to dry it off. It was an increasing problem in the 10th round for both fighters.
I think Iron Barkley really don't want to fight anymore. You don't look like it, you know?
You think the heart's gone out of him?
Yeah, I think he's taking the starch right out of him.
Well, I'm not going to be that bold to say that. Marvin could, but I just think he sort of looks confused.
He looks dismayed. It hasn't gone the way he planned it.
That's a good word. He certainly looks dismayed in there.
Like, now what do I do, you know?
But the heart, you know, sometimes that heart just won't stop.
Well, that's the mark of a good fighter. You know that. And if you're going to be a champion, that's what you got to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right here, I'm telling you, Ray. Ray might not go past this round.
Could very well be true, Mark. Barkley looks very sluggish and tired at this point.
Well, you know when he gets sluggish like that, he's going to start going out, get more sluggish and make a mistake, and you know what happens. And this is one of the problems that Barkley's always had in his career.
Yeah, there's no question that both Mancini and Hagler have Kalambay winning this fight and that last round.
Kalambay is now certainly the aggressor, but he's like a shark who smells blood. He's going in for the attack.
Well, he's getting it both ways. I mean, he's the aggressor, and yet when he has to be a counter puncher, he beats Barkley to the punch there, too.
That's the kind of stuff that Barkley does. That's very amateur. And that's where he should stay. Keep the head right in his chest and go to the body. You keep that head down at all times.
He's got a perfect example by this, how sluggish he is.
Good right hand by Kalambay. A wild left throw.
Real sluggish, real sluggish.
Barkley's mouth is wide open, second fair right now.
Sucking that air up.
And that's not very smart because you can get caught with a good punch and possibly risk a broken jaw.
His legs moving in a plodding kind of movement now. Another big round for Kalambay.
Well, he's moving away from him now, to me. I gave Kalambay that last round 10-9 again.
The left gets it in.
And I think Barkley's cut on the eye now. That can create a lot of problems for him. That cut that you said that I think it reopened that he had from his last fight.
Ooh, nice. Lost his balance.
I don't think he went anymore. I don't think he went
He's really getting hammered down. Fighting gamely, but Kalambay is all over it.
This is the only thing that keeps him in this fight because he'll fight back. It shows heart, though. You have to give him credit.
Patricio, the name they have given him here in Italy, is being chanted by this enthusiastic crowd in Livorno. There is the bell with a couple of seconds left. The side of the bell by Sumbu Kalambay.
Well, Kalambay does look the pressure out of the both.
You made a good call. It looked like Barkley was very close to going down. He could have taken much more. That round got 30 seconds longer.
What do you think, Greg? Maybe this round?
I don't know, Mark. This kid's got too much heart to come out. But this Kalambay is looking so sharp right now. He's doing what he wants to do. You know that.
Keep working with both hands. Working with both hands. Don't try to knock him off. Spin in combination. Now. Okay, try, David. Try. I know this way.
A very calm-looking corner by comparison on the other side of the ring. Boy, he had him on off balance, and that wet canvas spinning all over this ring in that last round again.
That's because he's getting desperate now. He knows he's getting tired, and he's just going for it. I think he's going to try to go all out this round.
It's the 12th. This is as far as Barkley has ever gone as a pro. But this fight is scheduled for 15.
Well, now you know what conditioning means. His eyes start to close now. That can create a lot of problems later on.
Thirdly, the cut, nothing by Harrison approaching the extent of the cut against Amparo in his last fight.
Kalambay is going right at him now like a tiger.
Robbie Sims did stop Barkley, as we told you earlier. He lost to Wesley Solid. He's lost 3 in total as a professional.
I see Barkley's legs. He keeps bouncing around. He's trying to feel his legs and make sure, like Ray said earlier, his legs are starting to weaken him. You can't take too many of those. See, when he stepped in with the jab there, he looked very good then. That's what he has to do. He has to step in. He's reaching, and that's how he's getting caught in the end of the punch of Kalambay.
Kalambay has not been stopped as a professional. He has just 3 losses by decision and a draw to go with his 42 wins coming in.
Nice left hook Barkley threw right then, but he's got to step in. He's got to follow up with that right hand.
Yeah, it's a solitary left, but by itself doesn't mean that much.
Oh, I think he's forgot all about his right hand. See, if he was to throw him straight, he would catch this guy.
See, that again, Mark, I don't understand. Barkley comes in, throws bing, bing, bing,
and then
backs up.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Gets the back down for a few seconds, then goes back at it later.
Well, he should be starting to stay tight. I think that's his only way of survival, right?
Certainly a lot more tiring on a fighter to back up.
Hands are starting to tire. Ray, I think this round he might be down. We don't want to get up anywhere. I think he wants this referee to stop the fight.
You see the scoring, both Mancini and Hagler have got Kalambay comfortably ahead.
I think they may stop this round. He looks tired.
You think he's in that much trouble?
Oh, he just looks tired. I think he's going to get careless, and that's what's going to cost him.
There's no question about who's getting there first now, and more often, and that is Kalambay in the white trunks.
His hands are getting real tired now, you know, on Barkley. He's moving away now more, trying to survive. And Kalambay is just keeping that pressure right on him, and he'll work that jab.
There's the bell to round the 12th round. They have 3 more scheduled here for the WBA Middleweight Championship in Italy. We'll be right back.
When there's work to be done, there's one name that's always on.
Well, here's that incident that many thought might have been a knockdown, but as Barkley came in, he simply threw the left and lost his footing, a slip.
Well, I think it's too. They're throwing a lot of water on Barkley, trying to keep him off there, get something going. They told him he had only 2 more rounds, baby. Let's put it together. That's easy for them to say.
Yeah. But certain desperation now in the faces of his cornermen, too, I noticed between rounds. Barkley had speaking up. Nothing but calm again in Kalambay's corner because he's got the lead. It's up to him to hold it now or finish him off.
Nice.
Short chop in right, but he takes that.
Well, that's what Barkley's got to do. See, and you see he's going forward now again. Every time when he was backing up, he was getting in trouble. I think that might have took a lot out of him. He got caught with a nice uppercut, another uppercut. He's getting caught with the uppercut.
He bangs with another
one.
Solid combination play there.
He's not close. He's not covering up at all on the inside.
Wide open. Kalambay is teeing off on him.
Kalambay is punching inside of Barkley's arm. Barkley's punches are wide. Kalambay's coming up through the middle.
And the blood coming down Barkley's eye.
Takes 2 jabs after a good-looking right. He's a tired fighter from the Bronx, New York, down late going.
He's tired. He's fighting just on heart.
The legs very wooden-like. Very stiff-looking. And again, Kalambay, who can win as the aggressor, can win as the counterpuncher as well.
Kalambay is certainly having...
Well, he's got to keep...
Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead. He's got to stay tight on Kalambay if he wants to hang in there. He's got to stay tight. Across the arms and the inside.
Kalambay certainly has shown that he has a good chin tonight. He has got hit with some good left hooks right square on the chin, and he's standing up.
Yeah, for a guy with a lead, he must know he has. He's taken some unnecessary risks in the late round.
Well, that's the heart of a champion. You don't want to leave it in the judge's hands. Ask Marvin about that.
Oh, we know about that. Can't do that no more. That's if I decide.
Another if, huh? Well, the question is, if Kalambay doesn't make a serious mistake and get nailed here, he's on his way to a title.
That's fatigue right there. That's fatigue setting in. He's going, like Marvin said, on strength, on heart.
Well, you know what would be nice, Ray? To see all 3 of these guys have a box off and unite the title once again. Then maybe come see Mr. H.
They'll go by initials. I like that.
You will be sure to leave your card where you can be contacted.
Oh, believe me, they know where I'm at. I'm not hard to find.
Well, Burns and Roldan will take care of the other third of the 3 middleweight titles next week in Las Vegas. But now it looks like Patricio Sumbu Kalambay is nicely on the way to this one, the WBA version. There is the bell. Just 2 rounds to go here in this 15-round title bout.
Well,
Kalambay has worn him down completely and exhausted Barkley.
I have a Kalambay 118 and Barkley 110.
That's quite a margin. Ray has it by 4 points. Kalambay at this stage.
7 points.
Sorry,
7 rounds.
7 points.
We have some action going on in the stands. The fans are getting so excited. Danny Aiello is so ready to go after some of the Italians.
I think they're throwing stuff in the ring. That's the reason.
Well, an enthusiastic, if that is a strong enough word, crowd of 4,200 here.
Well, I think what Danny got upset about was because they were throwing things at Barkley.
arms of his have really been wobbly, and you see them buckle here all the more as he gets in close and takes the uppercut to Graves to the left to follow.
Well, to me, I thought that was more or less a slip from the water on the canvas.
He took some real shots.
But the uppercuts are tough. Those uppercuts are tough. He's coming right out and giving it all right now.
He really is. He's got to let it all hang out and fly if he wants to win it down. Barkley, that is, and he knows it. Behind by a considerable margin.
Well, Qawi is just laying back now.
Look, he's just rolling those shoulders. I like what I see right now.
That takes a lot of energy out of you, right?
Yes.
Every time you miss.
I mean, Kalambay, I wasn't sure. I didn't have a book on him, but I'm telling you what, this guy is really a sharp fighter.
Well, you certainly see more of Barkley than Kalambay, but he has earned my respect, I'll tell you that much, and I think you share it.
Both these guys. There is no loser tonight. There will be one winner, that's all.
What Kalambay did, he succeeded in taking Barkley's plan away from him early and just turning the whole thing around to his advantage.
That's the name of the game. That's what you want to do. Establish dictatorship right off the get-go.
No question that Barkley needs a knockout to win this, and there's no indication he's going to get it as hard as he is trying.
Well, Ray, we might have to get out of here quick if Kalambay wins. People look like it's going to be a madhouse.
I know, I'm going to jump in that ring.
Not as quick as if he loses, I'll tell you.
Good point, Don.
Now, this crowd has been treated to a good title bout.
A tremendous fight, and I think people all over the world and in America have been treated by supreme athletes. These guys are tremendous.
Well, I have to say so myself. Story, Marvin, that you both have at this stage into the 14th round. Very one-sided. Iran constantly getting beaten with a punch. As hard as he is trying for the big blow to turn it around, it's just not there for him.
Well, he should start going back to boxing. Either that or go on the inside. He's safer on the inside.
Yeah, I think right now he's going to have to pressure, stay close, and throw punches.
That's what he's got to do. Get in the inside and hopefully get lucky.
And if he wants to rest on the inside.
On the inside.
This would be a big month for boxing in Italy with two champions crowned within 3 weeks apart, Don.
That's right. Rocky over in Perugia at the foot of the Italian Alps, getting the other title won 3 weeks ago. He is here tonight. There's a good left again by Kalambay.
A lot of blood coming out of his mouth, out of Barkley's mouth right now. He's probably having trouble breathing.
Yeah, that mouth open much of the time.
Oh, you tell you what, someone's going to be sore tonight after this fight. A nice hot bath.
Both of them.
We know what that feels like, don't we, Ray?
That's for sure.
If all you're going to do is sit with your feet in cold water, waterproof boot will do. But if you're going...
3 minutes precisely away from the WBA middleweight championship here in Italy tonight. He turned it around and back there and simply accelerated as he pulled away from the fighter from the Bronx, New York, who's in a desperate situation now. Round 15, the final one.
There's the heart of Iran Barkley coming right out after him saying, hey, it's the last round, let's give it all we got.
Nice, caught him with a nice double left hook.
Yes, he did. Spun him a couple of times over there.
Well, Kalambay pretty good there. You know, Kalambay can't relax and think he's got this fight won yet, you know.
You're right, Marv. He's starting to be a little bit too confident.
That's it. See, you never until they say the fat lady sings.
I'm seeing a lot of fat ladies.
She is at least tuning up.
Oh, it's the pasta.
Barkley with a spirited debut here in the 15th round. Chops him with a good hard left hand.
Kalambay, he can just move around and just stay out of range of Barkley. I think he knows they have this fight won.
Yeah. So here's when you might concede to the judges if you're in his shoes and say, yeah, I got it won, and let's just stay out of trouble.
Well, you better watch that cut there over Barkley's eye. It could be giving him problems. It like the blood might start dropping in his eye now.
to the same spot as the one on the Imparo fight.
Oh, nice. He caught Kalambay with a nice overhand left there.
He's got him with a few good punches here in this round. It's been certainly his best for the last half dozen or more.
He starts cocking it. When you start cocking that left hand like that, you're vulnerable for a straight right hand. That's the way my trainer taught me.
Mark, I said earlier that the ring, being as small as it is, would benefit Barkley. It's just the opposite. It's been benefiting Kalambay.
Exactly. All the expectations got turned around here inside about 3 rounds.
Well, Kalambay's got to stay off those ropes, though, because every time that Barkley gets him on the rope, he lets those babies fly.
It's getting very late now for Iran Barkley. The 15th and final round. And he has certainly come out with a flourish trying to score the knockout he needs to win, but it hasn't been there.
Well, you have to give Barkley a lot of credit, though.
Yes, you do.
You know, he showed a lot of heart, and he's still fighting like a tiger in there, and that's great.
A good combination there. There's the left hand again, partially blocked by Kalambay.
Well, whether he wins or loses in this fight, you know, he knows that he's been in a title fight. And you get the smell to know what it's all about.
And we've been introduced to a man, Kalambay, who deserves watching in the future. That eye very puffy now and slit by the punches of Kalambay. That is the left eye of Barkley.
I would stay tight. Stay tight. You try to work in the air, you go. Stay tight. Stay on him again. Every time, like Ray said, he backs up out of there every time he gets the game going.
And he has gotten it going a few times in this final round, but he's out of time. That's it. This crowd roaring with approval. They feel that Patricio Sumbu Kalambay has won it. And we'll find out very shortly if that is the case in the eyes of the 3 ringside judges. They are from Panama, Denmark, and Canada. The referee from Venezuela has no vote. But on the cards of the 2 men to my right, it looks to be a one-sided victory for Kalambay.
Yes, I gave it to Kalambay.
I have a 146-139 in favor of Kalambay, yes.
So both decisive margins from the 2 champions at ringside. And Kalambay has pleased this crowd here and left them short of just one thing. That is a knockout. But it was Barkley who came rushing out for the knockout blow in the final round and just couldn't bring it home. He got off to a bad start. Here he is getting knowledge from a few backers here and get a few whistles, which is the European boo for Barkley.
Like I said, Don, there is no loser tonight. It's a shame that there will only be one winner. Both of these guys fought like champions and shouldn't have deserved the title.
Just that one of them looked to be so much better and so much more consistent. That is Kalambay. I want to thank Marvin Hagler and Ray Mancini for joining me at ringside tonight for what was a very fine bout, a very hotly contested bout, but the point was made by both Ray and Marvin earlier that Barkley's plan got turned around and became Kalambay's plan an advantage, and that is tactically and also the small ring. It worked certainly to the advantage of the Italian fighter far more than it did for Iran Barkley.
Don, may I interject that Marvin may be doing the smart thing right now. He's on the way out. He's heading for the door.
That may be a good move. We await the decision here in Livorno, Italy. This crowd certainly will erupt if the expected decision is announced in favor of Kalambay, who now has taken care, at least unofficially it appears, of 2/3 along with Frank Tate of this middleweight title, and Hearns and Roldan have the other third still to issue between themselves, an award in Las Vegas next Thursday night. That'll be a dandy as well. Marvin Hagler, as you've heard, hovering, just waiting for what he calls a box off to get it down to the point where he will certainly, it looks like, indicate some interest again at coming back. But we thank Marvin for his appearance at ringside along with Ray Mancini tonight. Kalambay looks so cool and so calm throughout his mission tonight, and simply just gained as he went along, gained momentum and gained advantage and was beating him to the punch. He was getting his combinations through. The only damage that came from Barkley was a sporadic sort of attack that he simply couldn't sustain over the long haul. The 2 men who showed no hostility toward each other before the fight have none now, and gave this crowd a pretty good show in Livorno. The referee is Isidro Rodriguez, officiating in his 52nd fight over the last 16 years as the two fighters at hand awaiting this decision with a lot of people up there in the ring and others crowding down behind us, very tight at ringside. Barkley has lost just 3 to this point, as has Kalambay. Barkley giving up his amateur career 2 years before the '84 Olympics. He fought for the United States internationally as an amateur. Has seen his career progress to this point, a chance for the championship, but it looks very much as though it's not his tonight. Here's the decision now. A 7-point margin from the Danish judge for Kalambay. Another 7-point margin for Kalambay. 147-142, the last judge, so it's a unanimous decision for Patricio Sumbu Kalambay, who wins the WBA middleweight championship here tonight.
Say goodbye to the dog days of summer. Winter's right around the corner with those biting...
Thing here in Livorno. Let's see in the middle of it all if Ray Mancini could find his way to talk to Iran Barkley. Ray?
Iran, you certainly fought like a champion tonight. It's a shame they can't have 2 belts. You looked a little like you were tiring a little bit in the middle rounds. Is it because of the weight loss, you think?
Well, I don't like making excuses. You know, my weight was fine. I did a hell of a job. He paid off for him. You know, like, I have no excuses about nothing. I'm a true-hearted champion, and I'm going to leave like a champion. But I'll be back. It's no problem, Mancini. I think I fought a heck of a fight.
You fought a tremendous fight, there's no doubt.
And considering all the lies everybody talk about me wouldn't give me the real recognition I'm supposed to get, but that's okay. God is my witness. I'll be all right.
I'm sure you will.
He's a true good fighter.
Yes, he is. Did he surprise you by standing with you?
Yeah, he surprised me, you know. I thought a couple of times I had him. You know, I seen him getting winded. I was taking deep breaths. It's smoky in here, but I worked hard, and it paid off. I'm satisfied for what I did. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I proved it because I beat some of the best guys. So he beat me, so, hey, that's good, you know.
Let me ask your trainer, Hector Roca. Hector, did he follow the fight plan that you had planned for him?
Yeah, in fight we planned, but the ring is slipping, you know. He's a heavy puncher. Every time he try to put the heavy punch and slip, like you can see. So you have to only hand back and don't work like the way we want to work because the ring too slip.
Well, I just want to say that you guys fought a tremendous fight. You treated the people of America as well as the Italians to a great fight.
Real good. They treated me better than my hometown.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to you. I know you'll be back, and I hope you'll get another shot.
Yeah, I'll take a little rest, and I'll be back because I'm a true-hearted man.
Yes, you are. And we're getting a little crazy here, so I guess we should go back down to Don now.
Yeah. Yes, it certainly is crazy up there in the ring, Ray, and we would like to have talked to Kalambay, but of course, language difficulty and all the confusion makes that impossible. But he is certainly a deserving winner of this WBA middleweight championship. A solid decision by a healthy margin. And the cards of all 3 judges over a game but outmatched Iran Barkley of the Bronx in New York City. Quite a night here in Livorno in Italy as the WBA title gets decided.
This is NFL
Live. Frankie Randall battles Primo Ramos for the belt when Budweiser presents Top Rank Boxing. Live Wednesday night on ESPN.
Ray, amid all the confusion, and that's a mild term for it here, you did manage to get a few words in Italian in with Kalambay. What did he have to say?
Well, they had an interpreter who didn't speak any English. What he said in Italian was that he wanted to thank Rodolfo Sabatini, who has passed away a couple years ago, who was the big promoter in Italy and Europe, for bringing him to Italy, for giving him the chance to show his ability. He wants to, and he dedicated his fight to his memory.
Well, he certainly showed that ability tonight over Iran Barkley. He simply outmatched the man after about 2 rounds. Barkley looking to take the advantage and fight his plan. Couldn't get it done. A good win for him.
It's a very good win. But I tell you, like I said earlier, Iran Barkley fought a tremendous fight. He certainly is a middleweight to be reckoned with. I think there's no reason why he shouldn't be coming back for another title. But Kalambay fought a great fight, and he certainly deserved the championship tonight.
All right, Ray, thanks for your comments and those of marvelous Marvin Hagler. It's been quite a night here in Livorno, Italy. The WBA Middleweight Championship bout has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Dickies. They're America's favorite work clothes, but who says you have to work in them? Reminder that coming up next week from Las Vegas from the Hilton Hotel, the North American Boxing Federation Lightweight Championship, 12 rounds Frankie Randall against Primo Ramos. That'll be a good one, and join us for that. Once again, for Ray and Marvelous Marvin, Don Chevrier saying good night from Livorno in Italy.
From the Great Wall to Wall Street, one airline brings our nation's business together throughout the U.S. and 13 foreign lands. United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.